smash, and one of the bad guys on the inside of the prison had one of the biggest jaws ever.
I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That looks kind of like this.
No, I would say that if he... Yeah, that's got to be the beard. It's just making it look like his chin continues because of the shading.
It is quite large.
A man who bought a 20,000-pound car, and pounds as in British pounds.
Go back to the picture real quick.
Yeah.
I know who this is. Go back to the picture.
Okay, we got it.
The jaw line is, remember that? It was sort of the animated movie, I think it was Sin City.
Yeah.
The villain in that, the guy who got all the bullets in him and stuff.
Well, no, I think that
Tim
was
brings that up in the chat. He
Mickey
says it
Rourke.
looks like Mickey Rourke in Sin City.
Yeah, okay.
Wow,
Thank
look at you and Melton.
Look at that. Oh, you did that? Way to go, Melton.
How would you know that? Have you ever even seen Sin City?
Yes. You know why?
Because of Jessica Alba and the Chaps.
That got me in, but
of course,
the girl that Mickey Rourke goes and sees, and she helps repair the bullet holes. There's about 2.6 seconds of side boob there.
By the way, I liked Sin City. I thought it was really good.
Yeah, I really like Sin City 1.
That's right. I didn't see the sequel. Didn't see it.
Not good.
And I think the chick from Gilmore Girls is in it, right?
So this dude bought a 20,000-pound. What is that? Is that roughly 25,000 American dollars? I don't even know.
Something like that.
He had to replace the one he had stolen. Has discovered he accidentally bought his own stolen car back.
Oh, well, at least he got his car back.
Ewan Valentine, 36 years old, woke up February 28 to find his car, a black Honda Civic, had disappeared from his drive overnight. Now, after informing police and his insurers, he started looking for a replacement 2016 Type R model. Found one that, quote, looked identical about 70 miles away.
Looks identical.
Now, but after he bought it, he noticed similar items in the car. Mr. Valentine realized that he had bought the stolen car. He had also found his previous addresses in the car's satellite navigation.
This guy knew me.
My contacts are already loaded.
He said, quote, it was sort of a midlife crisis car. You don't get many of those, so I was pretty determined to get it replaced before one day I have to get a sort of family car. I spotted one that was identical, same color, same year, same slightly obnoxious exhaust system on it as well.
Same license plate.
I started noticing things in the car were a little bit odd, like a single tent peg and some Christmas tree pines and Mars bars wrappers. How do you, steal a car? First of all, if you've got a dirty car, you're disgusting, you're lazy. But how do you steal a car and not clean it up, especially to sell it?
Christmas tree pines and Mars bars wrappers. My wife is in the passenger seat.
My sunglasses are still here.
So police have gotten
All my radio
involved now.
presets.
Now, they said that things had been tampered with. They removed the VIN numbers, replaced other things. Of course, they didn't clean up the Mars bars wrappers.
The Mars bars are still there, but the VIN numbers
But
are
the
piled.
police have gotten involved, and he did get his car back.
Well, I'm glad he got his car
But
back.
does the insurance get their money back?
Somebody's got to take it on the chin here, right?
Yeah?
Yeah.
Back to our previous story.
Yeah.
Take it on the chin.
Mickey Rourke. That is Trash Today, brought to you by our friends at Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. And one more time, our drive to the end of the show brought to you by NASCAR. The weekend is here, and so is NASCAR at Talladega.
Absolutely it is. You can go enjoy it. The intensity of NASCAR, 500 miles. I mean, my gosh, you're going to love it. If you've been in Alabama any amount of time and have never been to a race at Talladega, you are missing out. Enjoy the intensity of Talladega for 500 miles. Jacqueline's 500 weekend. It is all starting today. Goes through the weekend at Talladega. You could see more. TalladagaSuperspeedway.com. Talladega.
Looking to expand your business and inform the Next Round audience about your exciting brand? Contact us at sales@nextroundlive.com to be part of the team and advertise your product to hundreds of thousands of potential consumers on our ever-expanding platform. Let the Next Round help take your business to the next level. Get more information by emailing us at sales@nextroundlive.com, and one of our team members will work with you to build a plan to take your business to the next level with the Next Round.
The World Wide Web is a large place. Find all your favorite people and content in the same spot. NextRoundLive.com is full of wonderful tidbits about the show you know and love. Find our gear, listen to your favorite personalities, follow our socials, and enjoy your trip to NextRoundLive.com.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
We've got a great weekend of social media from Chipper Jones, Lenny Dykstra, and the President of the United States we'll get to.
What a group.
We've got pictures from the mullet toss, reaction to maybe the most awkward coaches interview of all time that was on CBS Sunday morning. But we start with the wrap-up of the NFL draft. We'll get to Tyler Booker, who will join us live coming up in the next segment at around 9:30 Central. Shedeur was the talk of the weekend, so we'll spend this part of the show talking about Shedeur first, who finally went 144th overall. What's more mind-boggling to me than him dropping is that he goes to a team in Cleveland that took another quarterback in the 3rd round and then came back and took Shedeur in the 5th round. To me, wasting your 3rd round draft pick. How does that not play that way to you guys?
I don't. Which one are you wasting?
I'm wasting, in my opinion, the 3rd round pick on Dylan Gabriel, where I could have taken a different player.
They have had 40 starting quarterbacks since 1999. 40. Yeah. And now they've got the largest quarterback room, larger than any Division I quarterback room in all of football.
We're to the point where college quarterback rooms are smaller than the NFL now.
They've got more quarterbacks than Hugh Freeze has at all.
That is correct.
Yes. I think based on the fact that he's 24, all these career starts from Central Florida to Oklahoma to Oregon, you take a flyer on a guy like Dylan Gabriel because of his experience, because of the upside. And then finally somebody had to get to Shedeur. And to me, I really believe, and I used to get checked out during the week to watch the draft when I was a kid. So I've been watching the NFL draft all my life for 40 years.
Okay.
And this is the craziest story I have ever seen. It's not even close.
I don't disagree with that.
I mean, to fall to 144th, you guys have probably heard the same stuff I heard, and it is like knife sharp. And there's so many people in the NFL that knew, like, we're sitting there on Thursday night. Is he going to go the back half of the 1st round?
Yeah.
He falls to Friday. All these NFL front office guys knew he wasn't going in the 2nd round, wasn't going to go in the 3rd round. Then it got a little dicey.
Let's do some timeline stuff. Forrester, I sent you a picture. I don't know. I sent you 1,000 pictures in the last 5 minutes. Do you have, by chance, the picture of the, he had a party and he had this made-for-television, made-for-video draft room put together and a carved-out section of hats over there. Now, remember when Deion said there are certain teams I will not let my son go to?
I do remember that, which perhaps is a reason some teams, not knowing if they were on that list, did not draft his son.
On the hats over there, teams that did not have a hat represented over there. Okay, so
right.
if you're trying to put 2 and 2 together, Deion, there are franchises. That's my business. I don't have to look behind the curtain. I know about certain franchises.
Right.
I'm not going to let my son go to certain franchises. Baltimore, probably because of Lamar. Carolina, Cincinnati, Denver, new quarterback. Detroit, Houston, Kansas City, L.A., Philadelphia, Seattle, Tampa Bay, and Washington all did not have hats there. The other franchises had hats there. So
thankfully, Cleveland did.
Luckily, Cleveland had a hat there.
You're not suggesting. I want to be clear with Lance here. You're not suggesting what some are is that there was collusion in the NFL to not draft him?
I don't think it was that. What I think is the Shedeur experience with every front office he talked to was the same.
So you're just saying everybody had a like experience, so everybody dropped him on the draft board.
And I'm sure then everybody was talking, oh, he did that with you too?
Yeah.
Sandbagged interviews was the way some people said
so didn't want to work out.
So I don't know if you guys saw some of the Brian Dable clips when he had guys from the draft last year. J.J. McCarthy was on the board, Caleb Williams. I forgot all who Dable had up. But, the terminology, you draw up, what your favorite play is. Let's flip the X, Y, Z receivers. I mean, very complicated stuff, but all these guys on the whiteboard were knocking it out and going straight through it. Well, word is Shedeur wasn't prepared at all and couldn't do any whiteboard work. And there are a lot of people that believe Deion was on a lot of these calls when Shedeur would meet with the front offices, and they're like, why is Dad on the call?
Yeah, I'm not drafting your dad. I wish I could because he was one heck of a quarterback. I'd take him in his prime.
Little league dads are tough to deal with. Can you imagine dealing with a little league dad at this level?
No, I cannot.
So according to some sandbagged interviews, there are some, as Brown said, that believe this was collusion because they didn't want to deal with the whole Sanders experience.
Which is laughable, by the way.
Let's go President Donald Trump first. He was on his social media sites after the first round. What is wrong with NFL owners? Are they stupid? Capital letters. Deion Sanders was a great college football player and was even greater in the NFL. He's also a very good coach, streetwise and smart. Therefore, Shedeur, his quarterback son, has, capital letters, phenomenal genes and is all set for greatness. He should be picked immediately, capital letters, by a team that wants to win, capital letters. Good luck, Shedeur, and say hello to your wonderful father. That from the president after the first round.
So President Trump had him with a first-round grade.
Yeah, on the first round grade.
I mean,
forget them tariffs. Let's talk about Shedeur.
I'm watching the draft, baby.
Yeah, you used to kill Obama.
We did.
For wanting to go home and watch a sporting event.
No, he was doing that.
I have taken plenty of shots with Trump and the social media thing.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just saying that, I mean, you can't be working all the time. You got to have some downtime. I have no problem with the president popping a beer and watching the draft.
Well, I don't have a problem with him watching the draft. I'm just saying he's shooting out text.
Yeah, kind of weighing in.
Or social media.
Hey, there's probably somebody sitting in the office saying, "Hey, take this text," and because it does.
Let me say
like
this:
he wrote it. It looks like he said it.
Yeah.
You know, I remember after the North Dakota State win this year. You know, you and I were on record as saying, first game of the season, this might be the best quarterback in all of college football.
I thought he was.
Yeah, and I still think probably Cam Ward was that, ended up being that, but Shedeur was right there. I mean, completing 74% of his passes, 9 wins at Colorado.
But being the best college quarterback does not necessarily make you a great NFL quarterback.
It doesn't, but I'll say this. As a Rams fan, once we got to the third round, before they take Josiah Stewart out of Michigan, I was like, take a flyer on the guy as your future quarterback. Why not?
Well, one more. Here's Lenny Dykstra, Brownie, and then I'll let you make your point. And then we got betting odds on who the Browns starting quarterback.
I did not know Lenny was still alive. I thought he died.
Lenny Dykstra, or somebody running Lenny Dykstra's account. I did not back check to see if Dykstra is alive.
From beyond the grave.
The media trying to convince the country that Shedeur Sanders is a number 1 pick is the same media that tried to convince you Colorado was a top 15 team in the nation. It's pretty good. When you start to comprehend that, everything else will start to make a little more sense to you.
What a coaching thought by Lenny Dykstra. Even if he is alive, I didn't know he was able to do that.
Yeah, I still think that at times they were a borderline top 15 team. I didn't think they were ever great. I don't think there was 15 great teams in college football this year. But, I continue to wait for Colorado to fall apart, and they never did. And one of the big reasons was because of Shedeur.
All right, so there's a point I want to make, but I just want to rewind to something you said. I don't think I look at it differently than you do. You say, well, you wasted a pick on Dillon Gabriel. They like Dillon Gabriel more than they like Shedeur Sanders.
It's obvious they did.
I mean, I think Shedeur Sanders, you say that as if you think Gabriel has a more difficult climb to make the roster than Sanders does.
I would say that you only take one quarterback, so you either wasted your third or your fifth.
Okay, no, I'm with you on that.
Okay.
So for those
you're
that,
wasting a pick somewhere.
The Browns had a lot of picks. I mean, that is one thing. They had a bunch of picks. So for those that don't know the Browns situation, in the offseason they got Joe Flacco, who, when you go get a quarterback like that in the offseason, you're saying we expect him to be our starter. That would be the plan for Joe Flacco.
40 years old.
40 years old. But better than anything they had last year. You'll give me that.
Yes.
Okay.
I can give you that.
All right, so
Can I
there's
show you
one.
the betting odds before you get too deep into this?
Sure.
Betting odds for who the starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns will be starts with Kenny Pickett as your betting favorite.
Okay, I was going to get him. He's at least got experience in the league. Not great.
Shedeur Sanders, number 2. Dillon Gabriel, number 3. Joe Flacco, 4. the forgotten Deshaun Watson at plus 1,500.
Yeah,
number 5.
I don't think Watson, health wise, I just don't think they're going to clear him this year. So I think Flacco will ultimately get cut, and I think that
You think Flacco will get cut?
I think he will.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think Pickett probably is your day one starter, and then they're trying to decide who the future is between Dillon and Shedeur.
So you could see the quarterback room actually being Kenny Pickett and the 2 rookies.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, boy, if I'm a Cleveland fan,
I know.
my quarterback room is Kenny Pickett, Dillon Gabriel, and Shedeur Sanders.
And if
Small hand Kenny Pickett.
if you're Kevin Stefanski, you had the biggest win drop from 23 to 24 in the NFL. You go from making the postseason to selecting where they did, a terrible season at 3-14, and we know how it works in the NFL. If they don't win 6, 7, 8 games this year, Stefanski's out, and to have all eggs in basket on Pickett, Gabriel, or Sanders is dangerous.
I'm with Brown. I think the point he was about to make, I felt like they brought Flacco in to be the starter.
Well, I think you do.
Yeah.
Now, you don't know what you're going to draft at that point. I mean, keep in mind, they had the second pick at one point, so when you bring Flacco in, if there's a guy you fall in love with in the draft prep, you're picking him number 2 probably.
Yeah.
They traded out of that spot.
That was a great move by the way.
Well,
I
they stockpiled picks. They were able to draft 2 quarterbacks because of it.
Yeah.
And they've got a first-round pick next year.
Well,
2 first-round picks
we
next
say
year.
it was a great move, and only time will tell. And I think Cleveland's draft overall, when you get guys like Quinshon Judkins and Dylan Sampson, guys that were so productive at the highest level. Harold Fannin Jr., the tight end out of Bowling Green, 117 grabs, led the nation this year. A lot of people believe for a good majority of the season he was going to be a first-round guy, so he falls all the way down to Cleveland. So Cleveland got some quality guys there. They've got to get quarterback right, and I don't know if they've still gotten quarterback right. Again, I think Sanders to fall to 144, it is the most amazing thing that I have ever seen in the history of the NFL draft. Not even close.
Don't you like Sanders better than Dylan Gabriel?
I do, yes.
I do too.
Yeah.
That's why I say they wasted.
No, I like Sanders better than every quarterback in this draft outside of Cam Ward.
A bunch of NFL teams didn't.
Yeah, that's why I say they wasted their 3rd round pick, because Dylan Gabriel to me isn't the guy. He's not going to ever be my starting quarterback. So why did I pick him in the 3rd round when I could have picked Shedeur Sanders, and then I come back and pick him again?
Well, because Cleveland thought he's better than Shedeur Sanders.
They did. They did.
There's no doubt they did. Both those guys were available where they picked Gabriel, and they went Gabriel.
Or they
not thinking that they were going to have a shot at drafting Sanders.
We can't play Mel Kiper aneurysm. Having aneurysm.
No, that was tough to watch.
Yeah, every time somebody would pass on him.
Well, but what was hilarious is when people started digging up Mel Kiper's quarterback evaluation, and they were showing the guys he had in front of Patrick Mahomes. And because Kiper's like, the NFL's never been able to evaluate quarterback, and they're like, dude, you had these guys in front of Patrick Mahomes, who was the best in the game.
And on that panel, it was Reese, Lewis Riddick, and Mel, and I forgot who the other was, but Lewis and Reese were trying to be like, we don't disagree with you, like, you're missing the point.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, everybody is passing on him.
You're angry at the clouds right now, Mel.
But he was. I mean, he was going nuts.
I think he was in the Stephen A. Smith category that for some reason the league is colluding against the Sanders family, which is the most laughable thing I've ever hered.
Yeah,
I've ever heard. Like
there's a belief. There's a belief, Brownie. I think that because he was I'm not saying it's right, but because he is a outspoken, not play the game African American black man, that he
there's none of those in the NFL.
Was overlooked for that reason.
Yeah, I mean that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. If you're making
I think
that
Travis
argument,
Hunter's an outspoken black man. He was taking number 1 or number 2.
If you're making that argument, turn on a TV and watch the NFL one weekend. It's the dumbest argument that there is. The absolute dumbest argument.
Yeah, I saw the race thing thrown out. I'm like, Cam Ward went 1.
I know you can't.
Travis Hunter went 2.
You can't even make an argument like this.
Cleveland's general manager's black.
This is the dumbest thing I've ever heard, and that is the most important spot in all of athletics, right? There's not a more important thing than starting quarterback in all of professional sports.
Yes.
So if you think that 32 NFL owners thought this kid could play, and they fall in line with some dictate from Roger Goodell or some other group of owners to not draft him, you're out of your mind. Professional athletics is the best meritocracy in the world. They will overlook anything if you can play.
You're right. And
anything.
And that's why when you ask me, do I think collusion, I pause based on the fact that I do think a lot of these general managers had the same conversation. And then their organizations came to a conclusion. We do not want to deal with a guy that has everything on the table, an opportunity to be a top 10 pick, and he's not prepared for our meetings.
Yeah.
Now, I heard this going to lunch or somewhere over the weekend to Fitzy on the ESPN radio broadcast. I turned it on as I was driving somewhere. And somebody in the panel said that during Shedeur's pro day that the scouts were about to run something. The scouts run the pro day, is that right?
Yep.
And the scouts were about to run something, and Dion came off the sidelines and said, whoa.
I've seen the video.
We're not doing that. We're not doing that.
Don't do it that way. Don't listen to that
we're not
guy.
going to do it that way.
And the scout even looks at him like, are you kidding me?
Yeah. And they made a point, I think it was Fitzy, who said Nick Saban's pro days.
Right.
Nick Saban stands on the sideline and never says anything.
Talks to Bill Belichick.
The NFL scouts run the pro day even with Nick Saban on the sideline.
It's not his day.
Yeah. It's literally called pro day. It's not Alabama day. It's not Colorado day. It's pro day.
The scouts you're using the facility for your players to let the scouts run a workout.
Because it's a huge benefit to you because it helps your recruiting.
Oh, and
when
if
you get guys in the NFL.
If you ever wonder or want to know why Dion, another reason he signed this big deal with Colorado, because there ain't an NFL team that's ever going to hire him.
It doesn't appear now. If you thought he was going to coach in the NFL. But
So you're saying you think that maybe the dad hurt the son a little bit?
100%.
Oh, yeah. Now, the son didn't do himself any favors, but I wouldn't be surprised with you if Deion was like, look, this grease board stuff is not that big of a deal. You don't need to be that prepared because, that was the other side of it. He wasn't prepared personally.
So I was much younger and much more naive when the Mannings pulled this stunt. So I don't really know how all of that went down behind the scenes, and you didn't have social media and stuff like that. So the reports didn't get it as quickly. But the Mannings did this exact same thing.
And that was very embarrassing.
It was very embarrassing. I agree. Now, it ended up working out for everybody. The Chargers got Phillip Rivers, who was probably a better quarterback than Eli Manning. The Giants got 2 Super Bowl championships. I mean, it worked out for everybody, right? But, the Mannings somehow executed this thing, and it didn't get the attention because we were in a different time then. You didn't have social media. You didn't have Archie say this, and then it get blasted all over the place.
But it was well reported. I remember
it was
him
well
saying
reported, yes.
saying it and going into the draft. And it was San Diego, right? We do not want to play for the San Diego Chargers.
That's right. Yeah, don't draft it.
And it was Archie getting that involved. And I remember going on the air that Monday and talking about how embarrassing I thought it was at that point. Now, it did work out for everyone involved, and more so for Archie. If Archie goes to the Chargers, he never wins championship. Or excuse me, if Eli goes to
the Chargers,
he never wins championship.
But the Chargers took him, despite
They did.
what Archie was saying.
They ignored the dad because they knew
they were going to trade.
They were going to trade to the Giants. Apparently, it had gotten worked out in the back rooms between the Giants and the Chargers. With all of that said, if you're an NFL franchise and you've got a dad as prominent as Deion Sanders saying there are certain franchises my son's not going to play for, it's just not going to happen, it's got to be in the back of your mind at some point. Am I that franchise?
That's right.
And maybe they asked Deion. I don't know. Maybe Cleveland asked him up front, by the way, are we on your list? Can your son play for us? And maybe he said yes. I don't know how it worked.
Hey, and don't be surprised, Deion still does this during the regular season. Like he brings it up in a press conference. Cleveland's struggling. Shedeur's not playing. He starts talking about moves they need to make. He goes on record. I mean, it's when you drafted Shedeur, you drafted Deion, or at least some part of him.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Of all this, it did seem, hats off to him, Shedeur Sanders was probably the guy that handled this better than anyone.
I would agree completely.
He was very, celebrating when Cleveland picked him. Because they've got a camera crew around him. He had great joy for being picked finally by Cleveland. Round 5, right?
Yeah, by the way, that camera crew was like Tony Curry on the billboard and Gene Stallings' first week.
We were ready to go home.
I'm going to do this prank, and I'll be up here a week maybe, and then a month later he's still up there. That was the camera crew. Holy hell, how are we still at Shedeur's house?
Ready to go.
I had Friday plans. I definitely will be there by Saturday, honey. I'll be at the beach house by Saturday.
How shocked were you guys that he fell this far?
Very.
Even with all of this talk, even if he wasn't prepared and Deion was involved, I still think, third round, if you can get a talent like him, why you don't take that risk?
Let's listen to Shedeur Sanders on staying level through the adversity, and even a prank call that we'll have more on coming up later in the show. But our friends at Storm Restoration Roofing bringing you the sound of the day. Our buddy Greg from Pell City ready to get out and get on your roof for a free, no-cost roof inspection. Greg will jump up there, 205-542-3531. That is his cell phone. If you don't want to talk to him, just want to leave a text, he'll get back to you. Greg from Pell City on Facebook as well. A-plus rated with the Better Business Bureau. Locally owned for over 20 years. Trustworthy guy who works great with the insurance providers there. In fact, he'll help you walk through some unbelievable insurance fine print that maybe you don't know about that's changed recently. He'll teach you about your insurance. Full roof replacements, roofing repairs. He's got his builder's license. He can help you with some small builds going on in your house, especially when it comes to storm damage. All right there with Storm Restoration Roofing, 205-542-3531, and Greg from Pell City on Facebook. And our friends at Lake Fest, Brownie, that is coming up. We're going to be celebrating Lake Fest later in the week.
We are Thursday, in fact. We're going to be at the Buffalo Wild Wings Pell City. We'll have an extra show there. You can come hang out with us, have some fun. That was a fun time last year. We had some Pappy there last year.
We did. Yeah, I would not be surprised if Justin and Eric make sure they've got some
Did
bourbon.
we give that Pappy away? I had to leave early last year.
Yeah, we did.
Okay.
They gave it away at some point. Yeah.
All right. 15th Annual Logan Martin Lake Fest and Boat Show presented by AmFirst. It is coming up May 9 through 11, Logan Martin Lake, Pell City. Absolutely free to the public. It is Bama's biggest in-water boat show. 80 boats and vehicles on display. Lake lifestyle vendors, food trucks, beer garden, live music all weekend. Tons of giveaways. Fireworks show Friday night honoring our great United States veterans. Mermaids and Mateys Parade on Saturday. Mimosas for Mom on Sunday. LoganMartinLakeFest.com for more information. LoganMartinLakeFest.com. Don't forget, for the first time in the history of Lakefest, Amherst is offering a 0.5% off interest rates. That could save you $100 a month and up to $12,000 over the life of the loan. You can see more. LoganMartinLakeFest.com, and see us Thursday night, Buffalo Wild Wings, Pell City. We'll be there around 5 o'clock. Is that our start time there? Yeah, 5 o'clock.
Okay, just to put it in perspective, Tyler Booker in the next segment, on just how special it is, no matter what round you're drafted, to hear your name called. 20 years of drafts. If you go 20 years, I mean, if you have a 20-year NFL career, that is probably triple the average, right? More than triple the average.
Tom Brady, Morton Anderson, George Blanda, how many people have ever done it?
Only 4,480 people have heard their name called during the NFL draft in any round in 20 years.
That's pretty wild, yeah.
That's how, whether it's we make this big deal about first round, third round, fifth round, to hear your name called at all in the NFL draft is a huge honor. Just 4,480 humans, not counting the supplementary picks. That's just 32 picks in 7 rounds for 20 years. You don't even get to 5,000 people. That's how rare it is to hear your name called in the NFL draft. And Shedeur Sanders understood that. He was appreciative of hearing his name called, and he gets asked about not being picked where some thought he would be picked and actually being prank called by some Ole Miss frat boys.
I'm extremely grateful for the opportunity throughout everything. I don't ever focus on the negative or even think about the negative because the positive happens so fast, and, you know, it's a change of emotions. For me, it was just playing quarterback. That's what it's about. You can't be up too low or anything. You got to be able to celebrate. So when we score a touchdown, we celebrate for a little bit. Now it's back to it's time to work, it's time to go. So that's all it is a football game to me. And that's how I view it. That's my personality. Is I would say, level through adversity and level through everything, any situation I'm faced with, because I know what it's going to require for me to come out on top. You've seen on Deion Jr.'s well-off YouTube video my reaction to it. This is what it is. I think of course the dude was childish. Of course I feel like it was a childish act, but everybody do childish things here and there, so.
I mean, you're right in that. And just the way he reacted to not being picked, he's the guy that probably handled it the best. A lot of people said a lot of things over the weekend, and he was not really one of them.
Yeah. Overreaction from the media on both sides.
Yeah.
I did hear Andrew Berry, the general manager, talking about their draft picks, and as you guys can imagine, almost every question was Shedeur. And I do believe when he said, look, now it doesn't really matter when they were drafted. Now they have an opportunity to come in, make the roster, and make an impact.
That's right.
And I think if you're Shedeur, he's going to have to process this and quickly get to work, because I do think that Kevin Stefanski and Andrew Berry probably have watched this film and they're like, this guy's got a ton of upside. And this could ultimately be day one our starting quarterback.
Yeah,
so he's got to come in, and it's going to be uncomfortable because the rookie hazing and the fun they have with these guys, for him to drop to 144, he's going to get a lot of shit.
Yeah, a lot of people reminding people that Tom Brady was 199th.
But he was expected about 199. He was going to sell insurance. Remember?
That was a difference.
But we're going to get to the prank at some point, right?
Oh, yeah, later on.
One of the most ridiculous things I've ever seen.
We've got it. And for note, though, Tyler Warren, Kyle McCord, others were pranked as well.
Yeah, Isaiah Bond.
Yeah, so we'll get to that coming up. A little bit more time we want to spend on the prank calls and how it could be good, funny, it could be bad. People love pranks. Jalen Milroe, before we get to Tyler Booker, what an amazing scene it was when Tyler got drafted back on Thursday night. The carrying of Jalen Milroe halfway down the hallway was good. Before you hear Jalen Milroe, who went third round, right, to Seattle?
Seattle, yeah.
Yep. Third round to Seattle. One of the NFL draft scouts said when we had Jalen in our room, we asked him, the typical questions. What do you think you do well? He went through that. And then we asked him, what are some of your shortcomings? And this is from the story. You're looking at it on the video screen. what do you need to work on? What are some of your shortcomings? He goes, do you have all day? And then he started to list them all, and they interrupted him. Are you not concerned pointing out those things to us would concern us? And he said, you should be concerned with any guy that comes in this room who hasn't played a down of NFL football and doesn't tell you that he has weaknesses or that he isn't working on them. Plus, it's an insult to you guys because that means he doesn't think you know how to watch film. Jalen Milroe, that was him in the interview process.
I love the answer. Some people might translate this a little differently. Like if this is Jeeves on one of his Bumble dating services, I don't know, Hinge, and you got a girl and you ask her something and she's like, do you got all day? Like, I've got so many red flags. Then you probably want to run in the other direction. But I think you kind of like this transparency.
I do like the honesty. Yeah, I like the honesty.
But would you say if it's a girl on Hinge, you're probably running?
Well, yeah. If she says,
you have all day?
Let me list my red flags for you.
Yeah, but
why are you not in a relationship? Oh, how long you got?
Yeah. But I admire Jalen Milroe, and then he's on the conference call going to Seattle, and here's what he had to say when asked about being picked in Seattle and his message to the teams that passed on him.
You walk differently. You play differently when you have an army behind you, and that's what I have. And so I'm super excited about it. Just knowing that I'm going into a culture that's wanting to win, that's wanting to achieve great things, and I'm going to bring that as a rookie and throughout my whole time being in Seattle.
Jalen, do you think you're the best quarterback in the draft, and do you have any message for the teams that passed on you today?
Built to ass.
Built to ass?
For those that are in the back, belt to ass. A little motivation, a little chip. Everybody tries to use that.
That's right. Good.
We were talking about the older generation, how we all got popped with a belt all the time, and I don't think anybody uses that anymore. I wonder if Milroe still got the belt to the ass.
Military family, probably so.
I wouldn't be surprised. So right now, the pecking order of power for the Seattle quarterbacks, we all remember Sam Darnold, after the really good year in Minnesota, signed a 3-year deal with the Seahawks. So he is QB1. Drew Lock is currently their second quarterback. Jalen Milroe is that third quarterback. I wouldn't be surprised at all if Milroe comes in and shows a lot, and they're like, damn, I think he's our quarterback of the future. He might end up being the most popular quarterback in Seattle by October, November.
There's a path to playing time for him, yeah.
That's right. First year,
no
because
doubt.
remember, Jalen Hurts had that little package that he ran early in Philadelphia, gets you in the game, and you run those packages, and then eventually you take over as the starter. Pretty good place for Jalen Milroe to land. Tyler Booker on the other side. We'll talk about his draft experience and going to America's team. The Dallas Cowboys, and a lot more to get to, including the prank call, Bill Belichick's interview on Sunday morning. Have you seen that?
No.
Oh, my 7 minutes of
I haven't seen the Belichick thing at all.
Pure cringe.
We can't show it to you, but we'll talk about it coming up later in the show as well. The show that's being brought to you by a couple of great folks. One of them is our friends at Gutter Camp, a great opportunity right now to make your life easier and add value to your home.
Yeah, 205-823-2212. Write that number down if you are thinking about this spring cleaning the gutters out. Before you do it, call our good friend Chris Stewart. Let him come out and give you the absolutely free estimate. You mentioned the next round. He's got a special deal for you. 205-823-2212. If you get on the roof, you slip, you fall, you snap the neck and die. No good to the wife or kids. Cap it, don't snap it. Lifetime warranty, free estimate. Special discount by mentioning the next round. He's been in business for over 22 years. Call Chris Stewart today. Cap it, don't snap it. For more information, go to capbirmingham.com.
And our friends at Way to Wellness, your journey to healthy living. The website is aplanforme.com. I'm hanging around 174 right now, dropping a bunch of weight. It was over 200 pounds. You can jump on the weight loss train as well with our friends at Way to Wellness. The website, again, is aplanforme.com, aplanforme.com. No contracts, no sign-up fees. And your first consultation is absolutely free with Leslie and her board-certified team. They've got injection therapy, meal replacements, and a variety of different ways to help you get your weight loss goal in sight. Aplanforme.com, aplanforme.com. It's Way to Wellness, your journey to healthy living.
Follow LT on Twitter at @TheLanceTaylor.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
Your representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090. Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop. Rare quality, well-done service.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
Hey, for all of your IT and printing needs, reach out to our friends at Xerox Business Solutions. Look, I'm still one of those old school guys. I print my notes every single day for the show. If you watch the show here on the next round, you see all the notes in front of me. From day one, Xerox Business Solutions, they've been with us here at the next round. Local for over 45 years. For all of your IT and printing needs, visit XeroxBusinessSolutions.com or call 205-969-3000. That's 205-969-3000.
Hey, you. Days warming up. Looking like spring. And at New Balance Birmingham, we've got the thing. What pops and what's fresh? Check the selects. Come together at New Balance Birmingham on Highway 280, right next to Chick-fil-A. New Balance Birmingham. We got now.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between 2 warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
Birmingham's fastest party returns to Barber Motorsports Park May 2nd through 4th. Medical Properties Trust presents the Children's of Alabama Indy Grand Prix powered by AmFirst. Experience 3 days of high-speed action featuring the fastest drivers in the world from the IndyCar Series. Enjoy the Kids Zone, food trucks, beer garden, Ferris wheel, fan zone, and more. The Children's of Alabama Indy Grand Prix powered by AmFirst. Kids 15 and under get in free. Get your tickets now.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
Your representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Hey, we'll talk about the breaking news with Chad Baker-Mazara transferring to USC basketball after we celebrate with our man Tyler Booker. I want to share this publicly, Brownie. The day my dad died, 1 week before the biggest night, or one of the biggest night in Tyler Booker's life, he took the time to text me some nice words about the passing of my dad.
That's awesome.
1 week before the NFL draft. That's the kind of guy Tyler Booker is.
If you know Tyler Booker, it does not surprise you, but I am glad you shared that because now that everyone knows Book the way we do. What is up, my man? Congrats. How are you?
Thank you so much. I'm great. I miss you guys. How have y'all been?
Not as good as you.
Yeah, we've been awesome. We've been awesome. Oh man, what a whirlwind! I bet this weekend has had to seem like a dream. Really, I would imagine. I mean, this is something you worked for your entire life.
Definitely. And for me to go to an organization like the Cowboy, like, it's crazy. I was saying it during my press conference. I've always been with the premier programs in the world. Like, I was with IMG for high school, Alabama for college, and now I'm at the Dallas Cowboys, premier organization in the world, not just sports. It's like that star is a national brand. So just to be a part of that is truly a blessing.
You know, we're biased. I mean, we all agreed you should be a first round guy, and you know there were some services and mock drafts that had you falling maybe out of the first round into the early second. But when you went 12, it did seem high where people had you projected maybe going in the 20s. Were you surprised at all it was Dallas? Were you surprised at all it was 12 when the phone rang and you got that call?
No, I was surprised that I went as high as I did. This is something I've been working for my whole life, and I know what I bring to a team and what some of the quote unquote experts aren't privy to are how well I do in the classroom, how well I do on the board, and my leadership and what I bring to the team. So the Cowboys didn't just draft a right guard that's going to come and play after one of the greatest guards of all time. They also drafted a great leader, somebody who's going to change their culture, somebody who's going to improve their culture and improve their program and improve the team for years to come, or however long the Lord sees fit. But that's what some of the experts don't know or aren't privy to.
When you talk to Jerry Jones and his family who run the team and all the Cowboys, what's the first thing Jerry said to you, and what's he like as you've had some conversations with him now?
He the first thing he said, "Hey man, welcome to the Cowboys, returning you in, congrats." And it was just a surreal moment. And Mr. Jones, being able to meet him and speak with him for a little while, he's very family oriented, and I'm very thankful for him and the Jones family for flying my family out the day after the draft. So they actually sent their jet for us, and so I was able to be there with my parents, my siblings, my girlfriend, and everybody was able to really see the family and meet the family. And Mr. Jones, he was like, "Hey, like when you get up there for that press conference, make sure you tell the world that you wouldn't be here without your family." And this is the complete truth. So I'm just very thankful for Mr. Jones for bringing my family out and really merging our two families together.
You talk about the big brands. Who's got the better jet, Alabama football or Jerry Jones? I'm going to say Jerry Jones.
Yeah, I think Mr. Jones has Alabama beat.
Maybe not that training table though. That food you get, that was pretty good at Alabama, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, it was top tier, and I haven't been in Dallas long enough to compare, contrast, so I'm just gonna leave that one alone.
Okay, you leave that one alone. Tyler Booker is with us, the Dallas Cowboys offensive lineman. It's fascinating to me. Like you're right. Here's a good example. Your former teammate, Jihad Campbell, grew up a Eagles fan. The Eagles drafted him. I mean, that doesn't happen very often. I've talked to enough guys like you to know you grew up one fan and another team drafts you. Did you have a particular feeling about the Cowboys when you grew up?
Yeah, I definitely did, and it wasn't the feeling that I have now because I grew up a Steelers fan. So knowing that rivalry dates back to before I was born and even before my parents were born. Like you guys know me, I'm a football junkie. I love the game of football. So growing up, watching the football life, all I seen was like, if you're a Steelers fan, you're supposed to hate the Cowboys. But I'm a Dallas Cowboy now, so I hate the Steelers.
I love it. I love it.
You talk about being a football junkie, and you know there are guys that dropped in this draft, and a lot of people said that certain people weren't really prepared when they got up on the whiteboard. Like how complex? Because I did see Brian Daboll, the New York Giants head coach, some quarterback videos from last year and how detailed he was on the board with these quarterbacks. You're a football junkie. Were you ever overwhelmed at all, or was it just second nature to you and you never really tripped up when you got on the board in front of the coaches?
It was second nature for me, for sure. I love football, and I think the reason why I was able to play at such a high level these past 2 years is because the mastery I had of the offense and me understanding the design of the play, understanding where the play is supposed to go, understanding what Jalen sees back there. And then I just want to give a big shout out to Coach Cap and Coach Wolf for making us get up on the board and draw up plays against certain defenses and making sure we knew everything. And then a big shout out to Duke Manyweather too. He's who I trained with, and he made sure we were prepared for all those meetings and interviews. And at the end of the day, it's football, guys. I love football, so it could be like, all right, what if the Sam blitzes? And I'll be like, okay, then Jalen's gonna throw a send All right, what if they send two through the B gap? Okay, then Jam's gonna run for a touchdown. It's like it's football, and for me, like it's like doing a puzzle. You guys remember when I was doing those Lego sets during the season? Like every gap has to be accounted for. Every zone and area has to be accounted for. And if it's not, somebody's going to get open and score. So that's how I see the game of football.
Yeah, I'm interested on your the way you look now, because when you showed back up to put your cleats and your handprint in the cement at the bottom of Denny Chimes, you look like a different person. Like when Emily Grace sent me the video, I was like, "Is that Book?" What happened before the last Alabama game and this draft? Tell me what you've done with your body here.
Yeah, so I really just slimmed down to get my body ready for the league. It's a very long season. I think the most games I played this season was 14, and the least amount of games I'm going to play in the season now is 20, including the preseason. So with that being said, like just taking some of the weight off my joints, that's going to allow me to play longer and play a little bit faster, because as you get in the league, guys are a lot faster than they are in college. And it was just getting ready for the league, but I feel great, and I could definitely fit some pants that I wasn't able to fit before, and buy some brands I wasn't able to buy before. So it's been the best of both worlds for me.
Tyler Booker, the new Dallas Cowboy, is on the Alexander Shunnarah Trial Attorneys Hotline. Coolest person you heard from? Like, I'm sure your phone blew up and you got some texts from people you have not met, maybe new teammates. Who's the coolest person you heard from? Or maybe answer both these. Coolest person you heard from, and maybe the most meaningful thing that you've heard since you got drafted.
The coolest person I heard from, obviously, it's got to go to Mr. Jones.
Okay.
Obviously, Mr. Jones, and then I spoke to Micah and Dak. So talking to both of them, that was pretty cool. And then the most meaningful person I heard from was definitely Coach Saban and Bryce. So Coach Saban texted me before the draft. He just wished me luck and told me I was going to have a great career. So I'm shout out Coach Saban, very appreciative to coach. And then Bryce texted me after the draft. And Bryce and I was a freshman and he was a junior. And we had a good relationship, but we were never like close in the world. We never the best of buddies. And we always text each other every now and then. But he texted me, just let me know how proud he was of me and how he's excited to see me in the league. And that really meant a lot to me, because I look up to Bryce. I look up to him, Will, Jordan Battle, all the captains that were other people who were captains my freshman year, because like I based a lot of my leadership off the way they conducted themselves. So to be able to hear from Bryce, that really meant the world to me.
Obviously, Micah Parsons is one of the best linebackers in the world. Sanders Sports in the chat room wanted us to ask you, who do you look forward to hitting first? Now you've talked to Micah Parsons. You guys are friends now, but there's got to be somebody like, man, I cannot wait to go one-on-one with that guy in practice.
In practice, probably no. Like it's probably gonna be Micah, and that's what we talked about on that little call we had. You've probably seen it, but just what he can do with his body and how he can rush from anywhere. And he'll rush from off the edge for sure. But they have some packages in where he'll come pick on the guards and pick on the centers, and that's just gonna get me ready for the league, because that's what the game is about now. Like getting my fast guys, getting their fast guys on our quote unquote slow guys. Like I've seen that in college too. So that's just gonna help me be ready for whatever I see throughout on Sundays going forward.
So that was quite the bear hug that you gave Roger Goodell after being selected by the Cowboys. He's a bigger guy, though, right? Like if it was Adam Silver for the NBA, I mean, you would have broke him in half.
Yeah.
So
yeah, probably. I think Mr. Goodell probably has to get some good lifts in before the draft just to make sure his body's prepared.
What does he whisper to you? It seems like he's
Let
talking.
go.
It was a long. The hug is a lot longer than you would expect, and he's just whispering words of encouragement to me, like you're here, man. You did it. Just keep going, keep working hard, and it's definitely a great moment. It's everything that you would think it would be, and then some. And then just being able to see your last name on that jersey before you turn it around is just a real moment.
Listen, speaking of pure joy and everything, when your name is called, and then that moment you and Jalen shared, walk me through that. Do you even remember it? I black out in moments like that, but he looked as happy as you looked.
No, I definitely remember that. And Jalen, like that's one of my best friends in the world. Like some of the stuff that we've been through together. I mean, that's my brother. We worked together. We bled together, fought against each other, cried together. It's like that's my brother, and that's my brother for life. So to be able to share that moment with him is definitely one of the most memorable moments from that night.
You almost carried him all the way out to the stage. I didn't know if you were going to put him down.
No, I was about to. I was like, man, I don't know how Dak's gonna feel about this. So that's not my quarterback. Well, listen, we've had a lot of NIL guys over the years, but never one back-to-back years. So we feel like you're a part of our family. We built a special relationship with you, and I hope you know how proud we are of you and can't wait to see you playing in that star.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys, and I look forward to talking to y'all again soon.
Absolutely.
How about them Cowboys?
How about them Cowboys? Yeah, it used to be Roll Tide. Now it's how about them Cowboys?
How about them Cowboys?
No, that was that's why I'm glad we already have a catchphrase kind of in Dallas, because I always sign off saying Roll Tide, but now it's how about them Cowboys? So how about them Cowboys? Appreciate you guys. Y'all have a good one.
All right, Book. Thank you, man. Congrats. That is Tyler Booker, the newest Dallas Cowboy, with us on the Alexander Shunnarah Trial Attorneys Hotline.
Yeah, he's one of one, man.
Yeah,
one of one.
Would you guys, if you knew you're number 12 overall, you know what that slotted bonus is going to be, would you already prepare yourself the one thing that you wanted to buy?
Yep.
Whether it's a house for your family or a car for yourself.
Okay, talk about that after. Let me get. I want to talk more about that because that's interesting. First of all, our show being brought to you by our friends at New York Butcher Shop. Tell us about New York Butcher.
It's funny. New York Butcher Shop, Jim closes for his employees on Sunday, and we're sitting there last night. What are we going to do for dinner? I was like, I would do anything if I could just run over to the New York Butcher Shop. I mean, it's kind of like the Chick-fil-A thing. It's like every Sunday, I do take advantage of the New York Butcher Shop at least one day a week, but boy, I wanted it last night. Some of the incredible steaks, and you can get them right now. You pick those up on your way home from dinner. The great ribs, the chicken, also those deli sandwiches for lunch or dinner. They're huge. You can order them right there at the substation. Smoked meats, prepared food, great catering options as well, and a fantastic selection of fine wines and desserts. 2 locations. The original Caba Heights, Highway 119 in Greystone, turnkey one-stop dinner shop, rare quality, well-done service. Get into one of those 2 locations. Tell Jim and the guys at the New York Butcher Shop the next round sent you.
And our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama, guys, helping you stay on top of your health. When you're 20s, you feel like nothing can happen to you, and then you hit your 30s and you start to wake up with a pain here or a pain there. Stay on top of your health, especially when it comes to prostate health, kidney stones, anything in between there. Urology Centers of Alabama can help you. Early detection is so important, and that's why having a reliable source to go to on a regular basis can really save your life. That's what Urology Centers of Alabama is all about. 205-930-0920. You have 16 locations, 35 urologists standing by to help you. They'll do vasectomies as well, so just everything on the board for you. UrologyCentersAlabama.com, UrologyCentersAlabama.com. So you're telling me my draft slot, I know my salary, will I be dreaming about money? I would answer it this way. I have a lottery ticket every week right now. I spend that. I always put my cut at $212 million. I don't even know what it is.
A little different than what Book's going to get there. But so is this your counting sheep at night? Do you I
do. It's exactly as I'm laying in bed, as I'm dozing off, I start going, if for some reason it's always $212 million, who would get it, how I'd divide it up, what I would do. So yes, if I was sitting in the green room at the draft, every pick, okay, if I get picked here, I'm getting this much money slotted. What am I buying? And then, okay, I'm pick 2. Okay, now I can't get that boat. I'm going to have to get a smaller boat or whatever.
Gonna need a smaller
3. And at some point, if you're Shedeur, you're just like, God, I'll pay off my credit cards. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, how many of those guys in the rookie symposium when they're talking about, how to balance everything and, get a financial advisor, blah, blah, blah. How many of those guys in the middle of that are just thinking, okay, I can get 2 houses. I can get one here in Dallas. I can get one back home. I can get a car for me, a car for my parents, or maybe 2 cars for me.
Yeah.
Here's 2 for me, 1 for you.
Here's
2
the
for
thing,
me, 1 for you.
I hope, and I think when you got smart people around you, they tell you these things when you're one of these draft picks like this. Not all these kids came from a privileged background, obviously. This is the most money they've ever seen in their life. The people that truly love you and care for you don't immediately come to you to shake you down for something because they helped you along the way.
You're right.
Just because they helped you along the way doesn't mean they're entitled to anything. And if they truly love you and truly care for you, they understand that. Now, that's not to say you don't go buy mom or uncle or best friend's dad a car or a house or whatever. If you want to do that, that's great. But if they're shaking you down for it, they never loved you or cared for you. They were doing it for their gain.
I'm very convinced that the easiest thing to do in the world is spend money.
It is.
If you've got it, you can spend it.
I do it.
Now, being responsible with your money, especially being a 21, 22, 23-year-old that is cashing in, not 7 figures, but 8 figures for the first time ever, I mean, you do have to be very, very disciplined.
That money could go fast.
Okay, so speaking of cashing in, I don't know if he's getting the same amount of money. Forrester, have you seen a report or anything on NIL? But Chad Baker-Mazara has made a choice according to Field of 68, saying they have spoken to Chad Baker, and he says this is true.
Well, this is Chad's tweet.
Okay.
It's pretty official.
Dreams turned into reality. Let's go to work. Committed to USC hoops. So Chad Baker-Mazara is now a USC Trojan. Your first thought is?
Well, Eric Musselman, who a lot of people forget went out west and took over USC this year because they went 17-18 and they weren't a very good team. But Musselman is obviously very familiar with Chad Baker-Mazara from his days at Arkansas. Look, this is a downgrading program, not even close.
Yeah. To that point, Craig Stevenson says he left a Final Four team to go to a team that hasn't been to the Final Four since the first Eisenhower administration. And he goes, 1954 for the kids.
Yeah, look, he will get paid in NIL. He's obviously going to get – I do believe this is not one of these situations where it's Nico-like where he ends up – wanting more, getting less. I think he will get more going to USC because they need really good players right now.
Do they have the money?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think they do. They have the money football-wise. I don't, their athletic budget's actually pretty big.
It is. I've never just thought that basketball was a very big emphasis at USC.
No, but I do think Musselman taking that job, he wouldn't have taken that job knowing where NIL is without that. Yeah. And Musselman's a very difficult guy to like, but the guy can coach.
I would say this, Brown. I mean, for him to get more money than Auburn was offering, I think he'll have to get in the $2 million neighborhood.
Does he owe Auburn $600,000? Does he owe Auburn $600,000?
In my opinion, he does. I don't know how Auburn feels about that.
Okay, so we got to factor that in, number one, and then number two, the cost of living and the tax in California. It's going to be a significant raise.
Doesn't SC take care of that if it is $600,000?
You would have to think, but that's also $600,000 they're not giving you.
I mean, that's basically the moving cost.
It's
right?
still out of your pocket though, because that $600,000 without the buyout could just go in your pocket. I mean, it's still. Then you can't lose what you never had, I get. But
then it needs to be a $2.6 million deal for me because.
By the way, the number
I think Auburn easily was in the 1.5, 1.7.
2.6 only is a wash, and you're playing for a worse team. I mean, like for this to make sense for me, it's going to need to be upwards of $3 million.
And I do think that there is. I think it's $1 million is the number where they went up on the tax bracket in California on the state taxes. So I don't know if you get creative. Pay me $999,999. Let's figure out some other incentives that we can stack it a different way. But I would want to be in that. I mean, if I'm only making 1.5, I would rather somehow lay it out where I'm making $1 less than $1 million, get in a different bracket, and then figure out another way to get that money.
This is going to have to be a significant raise to make sense. Otherwise, you got mad and you hurt yourself.
Do you think, and look, we've seen the Alabama package where our athletes have made $1 billion, whatever, in the NFL draft. I mean, if you're a head coach, is it not wise to lay out, okay, you're making NIL and $2 million in California, but that equates to $800,000 in Arkansas?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you need these graphs to show these kids because I don't think a lot of these kids realize what they're doing tax-wise by going to California.
Arkansas passed the bill over the weekend. I think it passed. It either passed or it's through the House and going to the Senate, one of the two. But it's either on the way to being passed or has passed, where their NIL deals are untaxed and state tax. They're also, by the way, not applicable to Freedom of Information Act, so nobody, the media can't dig and find out what they're making. I mean, there were a lot of athlete-friendly things that were passed there.
I would say, why would you not want? I'm with LT. I would
agree.
Want to.
When I saw that,
trumpet how much everyone's making.
When I saw that, I thought the school really should be sending out a release that we're paying $30 million for this team or whatever. But to answer your question, though, Lance, I mean, I think, yes, if I am Arkansas, I'm showing you, we're not charging you state. You know what state tax is in California? It's, whatever percentage it is. Let me help you with the math, and let's do cost of living.
Yeah,
let's do all those things.
Little things like a sheet like, okay, you go and get a large barbecue sandwich, fry, coleslaw, and a Coke at Byron's in Auburn.
That's right.
That same meal in Los Angeles costs this much money.
Yeah.
I mean, little things like that makes a big difference.
I would 100% be selling
when
that.
you go to New York City or L.A., little things like that add up to your travel expenses or your cost of living.
I can promise you, when we were in our early 20s, the one thing we were not thinking about is cost of living. Heck, Lance moved to L.A. That shows you he wasn't thinking about it.
And got there and was like, I don't have 2 pennies to rub together.
you never. I had all of $5,000 I moved out there with.
How quick did you burn through that?
Oh my gosh. Within a month.
Yeah, that's it.
I mean, because I remember buying a mattress and bed frame, and I was like, "Oh my god, this is like $1,400," which I thought was crazy expensive for a mattress and bed springs and everything that went with it, the frame. And so basically, that was basically a third 25%, 30% of what I had.
Yeah, basically you slept a lot. Yeah, I mean, it's exactly right. You put it into what you spend 30% of your time doing, sleeping.
It's a good investment.
You spent 30% of your money. Well, that's where Chad Baker-Mazara is now, USC. So no return to Auburn. And better, no SEC team. There was discussion of Ole Miss and Kentucky. You would hate to have seen him once or twice or three times during the course of the year to have that dynamic happen. So he's at USC. Not on Auburn's schedule, I don't think.
I don't think so.
I wouldn't think so. They have been before.
There was a home game at one point. I don't know if there's a return game at some point or a game in Birmingham or at Staples Center or whatever. But as far as I know, USC not on the schedule. So the only way you see Chad Baker-Mazara maybe, I don't know if it's in Vegas.
Well,
if they're in the
maybe,
Vegas event.
maybe I haven't looked. I would say, like, if Auburn's a 2, don't be surprised if USC's in that 7-10 game if they happen to make the tournament.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the way the committee often works.
Yeah, so that's your developing news. Let's get to the viewing menu. Before we do that, though, the show today being brought to you by our friend Alexander Shunnarah, Brown Alexander Shunnarah Trial Attorneys. Man, if you ever need an attorney, make this your first call.
Absolutely.
Keep it local.
Shunnarah.com. Listen, they are headquartered in Birmingham. 24 years, they've grown to more than 150 lawyers, supported by more than 500 dedicated team members.
Keep it local.
They've recovered more than $2 billion, maintaining core values that Alexander has always had in business: integrity, mastery, passion, and success. That's how they've built this firm. And if you're in need of a lawyer, call the Alexander Shunnarah Trial Attorneys. You pay nothing unless they win your case. The website is Shunnarah.com, Shunnarah.com.
All right. And the Michelson viewing menu brought to you every day by the great folks at Michelson Laser Vision.
Make the phone call that I made over 2 decades ago, 205-969-8100. Very important. Ask for Amy. Tell her the next round sent you. She's going to hook you up with a hassle-free consultation. You have 0 to lose to find out if LASIK is right for you. I've got the 2015 vision, better than 2020. 205-969-8100. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, best in the business. For more information, michelsonlaservision.com.
Unfortunately, there's no mystery movie tonight at the theaters.
What are we going to do?
Night off for
What
you.
are we going to do, Tyler?
I don't know what I'm going to do, but I found tons of stuff on actual regular old TV tonight.
Does that thing still turn on?
Yeah. I didn't know they still had that. So at 7 p.m. on the AMC channel, you can watch an Indiana Jones marathon from 7 p.m. to midnight if you want to watch Raiders and then immediately Temple of Doom.
Tyler is one of the ones that says Temple of Doom is the best of the Indiana Jones movies. I've never heard anyone else with that hot take other than Tyler.
That is Tim Melton's opinion as well.
Okay, Tyler and Tim Melton, only 2 people I've ever heard say that.
Yeah.
I haven't heard Melton say
the
it.
more horror style that Temple of Doom goes with.
I
like all of them.
I thought Raiders of the Lost Ark was so good.
Temple of Doom, very hokey.
Yeah.
Well,
I liked it as a kid, and I went back and watched it as an adult. And
Didn't
I'm like,
hold up, I didn't
I can't believe
We're going to need a bigger plane. Is that one?
No, we're going to need a bigger boat as Jaws.
Jaws, I knew that.
Spielberg,
more snakes?
Snakes.
Raiders of the Lost Ark.
It had to be snakes. No, this one was cockroaches. They were walking on cockroaches. Remember the annoying woman? What was her name?
Kate Capshaw.
Kate Capshaw.
Yeah. By the way, Spielberg's wife, if you want to know why she was in that.
At the time, she was his wife?
I think they were dating,
that makes a lot more sense.
Oh, yeah.
I always wondered about that, yeah. What was she? Didn't you mention Short Round the other day that he's doing something now?
Yeah, he was in a sort of John Wick-esque comedy movie that also had Marshawn Lynch.
Okay.
And it was called Love Hurts.
Yeah.
It was not very good.
Right.
But I think he was in is it Everything Everywhere All at Once, which got a lot of awards, but I haven't seen it yet.
Won Best Picture.
Okay. On the ID Network tonight at 8 p.m., we've got a new episode of the show Hollywood Demons. This one's about fan obsessions. People like Miley Cyrus, Taylor Swift, and Justin Bieber have been stalked by crazy fans and paparazzi, and family members of the stalkers and the stars will get into the dangerous side of fandom and tell their firsthand accounts.
Yeah, some of those stories. I remember Letterman had that woman that was like at the foot of his bed. Can you imagine waking up and somebody standing there? I think David Spade, his personal assistant, became a stalker and ended up like using a stun gun on him. I mean, there's some pretty crazy stories when it comes to those guys.
Yeah, one guy tried to kill a president because of Jodie Foster. I mean, there's
John Hinckley, right?
Yeah, there's some crazies out there, man.
And then somebody tried to stalk Bjork for years.
Yeah.
And then
it's
tried
random.
to send poison in the mail.
Yeah, it's random stars that do that.
Well, you don't even need a mental evaluation if you're stalking Bork, right? They're just like, don't need to go through it. We know where he's going.
And then finally at 9 p.m. on A&E, I didn't know this existed. Live PD has a spinoff called Florida Heat. So you've got an hour of Florida Man.
Oh, wow. They probably have trouble deciding what to cut.
I always found that hard to believe because this is like you could be at home, I don't know, with somebody tied up in your basement and they come beat on the door and it's actually live. I mean,
no, it's
recorded.
It's
live.
recorded. They air it as if it's live, but it's all 100% recorded and edited.
It's like Ed McMahon bringing the balloons and the big check.
Well, I mean, you could tell it is because they cut back to it at just the perfect time. It's like I've watched a little bit of it. It's Dan Abrams, right?
You never get somebody just knocking that nobody answers.
Guys, y'all want to go get coffee? All right, let's go.
We're in a stakeout here 2 hours later.
I know.
And they'll swap cameras between the different cameramen that follow the cops.
It's perfectly punched and all that. Yeah, it's clearly edited, but they present it as if it's live.
That's what Tyler's watching tonight, brought to you by our friends at Michelson Laser Vision.
Yeah, make that phone call that I made. If you've been procrastinating, you wear the contacts or glasses, you're wasting money each and every year. I'm speaking from experience. 205-969-8100 or michelsonlaservision.com.
Hey, when we come back, who is projected to be, betting odds, to be the top picks next year, and some interesting ones down the list in the NFL draft. If you want a retired jersey, one Hall of Famer says no problem. One Hall of Famer says get your own number. The prank call that LT and I have talked about a couple of times, we'll get to that and a lot more, including some college football news. All still to come on the show today. Brought to you by our friends at Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. We're back in a moment on TNR.
Follow Brownie on Twitter and Instagram at Ryan Brown Live.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
Your representation states that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. I mean, where else are the scenic views as good as your view of the game? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Want more of the show? Download the app or visit nextroundlive.com for the latest podcast, The Mystery Fifth Hour, our Not For All Ages podcast, The Last Call, and the entire Double Down Media podcast family. All at nextroundlive.com and on the Next Round app.
Do you need some refreshed college wear to represent your team this year? Shop Roback's Game Day collection that includes both Alabama and Auburn. From quarter zips to hoodies, Roback has it all. Get 20% off on us using code TNR20 at roback.com.
Remember the name Way to Wellness if you're battling weight loss in your life. I'm Jim Dunaway from the Next Round. There was a time I was over 216 pounds until Way to Wellness helped me lose 45 pounds, and now for over 2 years, they've helped me keep that weight off. Here's their website, aplanforme.com, aplanforme.com. That's a great name for a website because there's no cookie cutter plan. Everything is designed specifically for you. No contract, no sign-up fees, and your first consultation is free at Way to Wellness.
No matter the occasion, the Next Round store has you covered with whatever you need. Head over to nextround.store and start filling your cart up now. When you wear your gear, make sure to let us know by posting on socials, and you might just end up seeing yourself during a commercial break. Go browse now at nextround.store and place your order before the break ends.
The road to the Indy 500 runs through Birmingham, May 2nd through the 4th. The fastest IndyCar drivers in the world, O'Ward, Dixon, and Newgarden will put their skills to the test with one goal in mind: victory. Witness Miss America Abby Stockard give the most iconic command in all of racing as the Grand Marshal. May starts here. The Children's of Alabama Indy Grand Prix, powered by AmFirst. Tickets are selling fast. Get yours today.
Hey, for all of your IT and printing needs, reach out to our friends at Xerox Business Solutions. Look, I'm still one of those old school guys. I print my notes every single day for the show. If you watch the show here on the Next Round, you see all the notes in front of me. From day one, Xerox Business Solutions, they've been with us here at the Next Round. Local for over 45 years. For all of your IT and printing needs, visit XeroxBusinessSolutions.com or call 205-969-3000. That's 205-969-3000.
Start your day online with our website, nextroundlive.com, for the latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. It's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between two warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that quality legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
One interesting news note from over the weekend. Another sign the world has changed, Brownie. The NCAA is selling championship event data to gambling sites.
Yeah.
Now, the NFL, NBA, all of them have agreements to give information to the DraftKings, FanDuel, and all that. The NCAA has stayed away from that. But over the weekend, the word comes out that the NCAA, their biggest event, March Madness, will be selling information to DraftKings, FanDuel, gambling sites.
When you say information,
yeah, what do you mean by that?
It's
like ticket buyer information.
I think it's more stats.
Oh, okay.
That kind of stuff. All the information that they have on championship events
that the gambling sites value.
Yeah, that they value. It'll be an open book for the gambling sites to use, like it is in the NFL, Major League Baseball, NBA. They've all got deals. Keep in mind, this does not include college football regular season, bowl games, or the college football playoffs, because the NCAA doesn't control that, which tells me look for a bigger announcement coming up soon that the college football playoffs and the people that run it, the conferences, will be selling their information to the gambling sites as well. Basically, you're working together, and we've seen working together helps, prevent some nefarious situations.
So, the bigger storyline there, even though, it's a little cloudy, maybe what is being sold, is the fact that the NCAA is working with the gambling sites. Yeah. That's your takeaway from that is how far we've come.
Oh, how it used to be so taboo.
Yeah.
And now we're taking their money.
That's right. Now we're in business with them, essentially.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
This hour brought to you by our friends at Bojangles, Brownie.
Bo Bites, the easiest choice you'll make today. Bite-side, hand-breaded chicken, fried to crispy perfection, perfect for sharing, snacking, or when you're on the go. Just don't call it a nugget. Only hard part, choosing from the 6 dipping sauces. One for every craving, from the creamy house-made ranch to the sweet and spicy peach honey pepper sauce. It just depends on the kind of mood you're in. Head to your nearest Bojangles today. Discover the dippable, shareable, craveable Bo Bites. It's bow time.
All right. Let's do numbers first. Cam Ward, first overall pick to the Titans. He wants to wear jersey number 1. It's retired by the organization, which include the Houston Oilers at one point. So number 1 is retired.
Warren Moon, right?
Warren Moon,
yeah, okay.
right. Cam Ward asked Warren Moon, hey, can I wear number 1? Warren Moon says, no problem. You can wear number 1. That one doesn't seem like a big deal because Warren Moon's number 1 was in the powder blue in Houston. You're wearing those, I consider, yucky uniforms. Some people love them in Tennessee.
I agree with you. I think it's I don't want to say night and day, but it's not close. And
if Warren says okay.
Yeah.
Meanwhile.
Now I do wonder if Warren had said, no.
Yeah.
I guess you got to respect that, right?
Meanwhile, somebody did.
Okay, let's hear that one.
Abdul Carter wants to wear number 56 with the New York Giants.
LT.
Yeah.
Lawrence Taylor said to the New York Post, young man, I think that number's retired. And they said, yeah, he wants your permission to wear it. And he said, quote,
Tell him to get his own number.
Yeah.
End quote.
Really? That was his answer?
I love that.
I saw get his own number.
I saw a clip over the weekend, and they were asking Lawrence Taylor what he remembers the most about being drafted. Did you see this, Forrester? I see Forrester. This was awesome. What do you remember the most about being drafted out of Carolina in the first round by the Giants? I think it was 1982. I don't. I had 41 Coors Lights that day.
Yeah, I saw the number. They were like,
you
remember 41?
Yeah.
Somebody told me.
Yeah, somebody told me it was 41. I don't have a problem with this at all. I mean, Lawrence Taylor, to me, is the best defensive player we've ever seen. And I think it is very ambitious for Abdul Carter. It's not like he even wore 56 this year.
Yeah, it feels different wearing the number 1 for the Titans. I would never think Warren Moon with that because Warren Moon was a Houston Oilers.
That's right.
The minute I saw someone walk out there in a New York Giants 56, all I could think about is Lawrence Taylor. Yeah. And if you're Abdul Carter,
you don't want that.
There's enough pressure on you already. Yeah. Why make people think you're trying to be the next Lawrence Taylor?
Yeah.
Which is all that is saying.
But I am glad. I'm actually glad Lawrence Taylor said, no, I don't want to see another 56 out there. To me, it's just different. I guess people can pick. I'm sure there's some old school Oilers fans are going to be like, I don't want him to wear number 1. Yeah. I do think it's different. For 56, there is something that really jumps about that with the New York Giants.
I would say this, that on Throwback Weekend, there's more of those coming up this year. I think 3 times you can wear alternative uniforms, including your throwbacks. When Tennessee wears the old Houston Oilers blue, they're the ones that wear it, not the Houston Texans.
That is correct, yeah.
Seeing Cam Ward in the 1, it's almost paying tribute at that point to Warren Moon, in my opinion. It's Throwback Weekend, and it'll look the same.
But it does feel a lot different with the Lawrence Taylor, right?
It does.
I mean, like there are certain.
I think some of that too is the level of player.
To me, Dan Marino, there should never be a 13 with the Miami Dolphins. There should never be another number 7 with John Elway, and these are guys that played for these organizations for their entire career.
Like you notice, I mean, Tua's easily the best quarterback Miami has had since Dan Marino. And he was 13 at Alabama. It was not even discussed. Yeah. I mean, there was nobody that thought he was going to wear 13 in aqua and orange. Was not going to happen. And I don't even think Tua broached Marino works for the freaking Dolphins. Like, he probably would have said yes, but nobody even thought to bring it up.
Yeah.
I mean, there's just some.
Is that your official colors? Aqua and orange?
Yeah.
I thought it would be like sea blue and sunset or something. Yeah. You know how they get really specific with their colors sometimes?
Seafoam green.
Yeah.
And and
sunset, sunset orange or something.
But back to Abdul Carter, though,
we're a singles bar. I mean, we're a NFL franchise. Sometimes
this was almost a flex that went bad because again, when has he ever wore 56? Am I off here? I don't remember Abdul Carter ever winning.
Yeah, what was he at Penn State?
He was single
11, right?
Was he,
or was he 11?
Yeah, I thought he was 11.
Yeah, I think you're right. He was 11.
Yeah, I did not read the entire story. So I don't know
11 because Parsons had it. LeVar Arrington had it. Great linebackers at Penn State have worn 11.
To the prank call after we tell you about our friends at Woodhouse Day Spa, unbelievable folks there that'll take care of you and just take off the pressure that is life.
Yeah, look, not only can you buy the gift of relaxation for wife or girlfriend, you can actually get it for yourself. Decompress a little bit, recalibrate with our friends at the Woodhouse Day Spa. But maybe you watch the draft all weekend. Maybe you're playing golf all next weekend. You're on a guy's trip. Send the wife or the girlfriend to the Woodhouse Day Spa. She's going to thank you for it. Located right there at the Summit Shopping Centers, right off of Highway 280. You can choose from a menu of over 70 options, including the massages, body treatment, skincare, waxing, nail services. Woodhouse Day Spa, voted America's best day spa since 2009. Order that special person gift online 24/7, birmingham.woodhousespas.com. That's birmingham.woodhousespas.com, or just stop in. Beautiful location at the Summit. Tell Stuart and the fine folks up there the next round sent you.
Okay, so this was unfortunate. I'll say up front, not just Shedeur Sanders got pranked. Tyler Warren admits he thinks by the same group of fraternity guys at Ole Miss. Kyle McCord says he was prank called. It goes to, and this has been admitted now by Jax Ulbrich. Am I saying that right?
That is correct.
Ulbrich, yeah.
His dad is Jeff, the defensive coordinator. Jax is a student at Ole Miss. His dad had an open iPad when Jax was home for the weekend and got Shedeur Sanders and maybe apparently other numbers off his dad's open iPad and got back to the frat house at Ole Miss and did this during the NFL draft.
Hey, is this Shedeur? Hey, this is Mickey Loomis here, the GM of the New Orleans Saints. How you doing? This is Mickey Loomis here, GM of the Saints. How you doing? Good. How are you, man? Good. Been waiting on you. Yeah, we have. It's been a long wait, man. We're gonna take you with our next pick right here, man. This ain't gonna be nothing to you. Yeah, but you're gonna have to wait a little bit longer, man. Sorry about that.
What does that mean? What? What did he say? I don't know. How you gonna ask us what it means and you was on the phone? You heard that?
He said you're gonna have to wait a little bit longer. Sorry about that.
Why did he call? What the? Hey, that's I don't know what that was.
With the 40th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the New Orleans Saints select Tyler Shuck, quarterback. Louisville.
Switch it up.
Quarterback. There it is.
Wow.
So obviously it's horrible in that situation for Shedeur's side. Funny if you're in the frat house. Bad if you're the DC. Your son did that to you because you look bad at the organization.
Boy, do you.
Falcons had to send out a statement, had to personally call and apologize to the Sanders family.
I mean, Dion is in their ring of honor. Yeah. This is not just any other player. This is a child of a player you've put in your ring of honor. It's a little different for the Falcons.
Oh, this is awful. First of all, if you're Shedeur and the kid that made the call, the Jax Ulbrich kid, you're like, there's no way a general manager would sound this dumb on the phone.
Yeah,
like,
hi,
this guy
I
sounds
am
like
Mickey Loomis. I am the general manager of the Saints.
Complete idiot.
Yeah.
But Ulbrich, like, that's one of those, your credit card's gone. Almost feel like pulling you out of school for this. Just because, this is a little short of prank calling somebody and telling them a loved one's been in an accident. Because these kids have been waiting all their life for this moment. And then to rip it out and embarrass them like that in front of everybody, like, I really don't know what the punishment is for Jax outside of public embarrassment.
Yeah, I mean, I think his dad and his mom and dad have to determine that. I mean, this is, a family issue. I don't know, man. I mean, pranks are pranks and they're funny, but
this ain't a funny prank.
The biggest day in somebody's life, and you're going to do that to them.
Yeah, the only other time I remember, do you guys remember when Mohamed Sanu, ultimately went to the Bengals, I think in the second or third round out of Rutgers, but somebody did this to him. So maybe it's happening more, but they're very protective with these lists.
Yeah. Well, it was on an iPad. Well, the story is, if you believe this one, feels a little far-fetched for me. The iPad, Jeff Ulbrich's iPad, was open at home, and there was a list of phone numbers that were on there, including Shedeur Sanders, which it would not be uncommon for NFL personnel to have the phone numbers of draftees. That's not uncommon. I'm just saying, what are the odds that frat boy from Ole Miss walked by dad's iPad was open, and Shedeur's number was on the screen? I mean, that one's that's a bit far for me to believe.
Yeah, I'll play detective here. Pure speculation on my part, but I feel really good about this. He was home Easter week, and his whole plan was to get some of these numbers, and probably specifically Shedeur.
Yeah, I agree. Your dad's the defensive coordinator. You know what'd be funny?
I can't believe, though. It's one thing if it's an inside joke and, we're never going to share this, and it's me and two or three guys, and you can laugh about it. But to publicly, post something on social media, how dumb are these kids?
Yes, on their side. But I'm not familiar with, I know the Sanders were shooting this. I know they had a live hookup with the broadcast. They were at their own party going on. But how does that make it on social media? Was it a live stream that got recorded from?
Yeah, I think it was live.
You talking about the Sanders part?
Yeah, I think it was live.
Boy? Yeah,
Sanders, that was a live stream.
I think it was live on their channel.
On their channel. Yeah. So they were broadcasting the party live.
So.
Okay.
I think so.
Because I was wondering how you let that out, because you don't chop that up in the post-process and say, hey, Taylor, send us out on our socials real quick.
Send us looking as bad as we could possibly look out on our socials.
I was getting punked here.
Some of this stuff might be self-inflicted, but I hate for the kid to, pay the sins of the parent. And I don't know about you guys. I hope Shedeur succeeds. I hope he ends up being the starting quarterback for Cleveland. I hope this is one of those situations where you look back and you're like, he went 144th. How did this happen?
Yeah.
I'm really pulling for the kid. Now
that's why I think Cleveland wasted a third-round pick.
Well, you keep saying that, but they had no idea they were going to get Sanders in the fifth round. Who thought the guy was going to go to the fifth round?
I'm just saying, when you get him in the fifth, then why did you have a quarterback in the third?
The only time I remember somebody doing this, and it was higher, and I don't know if this ever got brought up on draft coverage. I was out of town all weekend, and I was trying to watch as much as I could, especially when the Rams were picking. But you remember the Redskins did this with RG3 and then Kirk Cousins.
Yep, that's right.
Yep,
that was the last one to do it.
And it worked out for them because RG3 was your rookie of the year, and ultimately that didn't work out. Kirk Cousins is still playing. But if both of these guys develop, it's really hard to have both develop and both play if they're on the same roster. But,
other than that one, I remember Seattle, they had gotten a big quarterback from Green Bay in free agency and drafted
Matt Flynn.
And they drafted Russell Wilson, right?
And they drafted him in the 3rd round,
Yeah. So I was like, a lot of people that year was like, well, why did you get Matt Flynn if you're going to draft a quarterback in the 3rd round? And Russell ended up being the starter.
I bet Seattle fans, much like they just got Sam Darnold and they draft Jalen Milroe in the 3rd round, they're probably like, is Milroe going to be our next Russell Wilson?
Yeah, you'll take that in a heartbeat if you're Seattle.
Yeah. I wanted to say something real quick on that Russell Wilson, but it's going to take me a second to pull it up. Is there a commercial we could do real quick?
Absolutely.
Do a quick commercial. And I'll
our
have it
wonderful
ready.
friends at Hemphill, they bring you the lock every day. Lance'sLock.com for more NBA plays, which tonight you got a couple of games. Cavs and Heat. Cavs up 3-0, 6:30 TNT. And you got the Rockets and the Warriors. Warriors up 2-1 there, 9 o'clock on TNT.
Yeah, it should have been we were 3-2 yesterday. Should have been 4-1. Should have been 2-0 in the NBA. We had the Lakers plus 2.5. And I don't know how much you guys watched that game. Complete meltdown at the end. LeBron James in back-to-back games has made some baffling fourth-quarter offensive mistakes. I know Magic Johnson went on record and said, maybe LeBron and Luka shouldn't be playing all these minutes in the second half with only one day off. But
they played the whole second half. He never made a sub. I think it was one of the few times in NBA history that's ever happened.
I will tell you this, though. The Naz Reid kid continues to make just incredible shots down the stretch for the T-Wolves, them up 3-1. Anyway, we lost that one by a half point, but we did have a winning day. More winners out there for you. We've got 3 in Major League Baseball. We do have 1 NBA play, Rockets, Warriors tonight. Jump on board and win with us at Lance'sLock.com. Always brought to you by our friends at Hemphill Services. Whether you experience plumbing, heating, or cooling issues in your home or business, they are ready to serve you. 205-229-2090. Hard to stop a train. Remember, $1,000 off the HVAC units right now, plus 0% financing. Call Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys there. For more information, hemphillservices.com.
So it was, I think on Barstool, they were talking about some of these old draft grades. And they're like, if your team's getting killed today, don't worry. The Seahawks got killed for their 2012 draft because they picked Bruce Irvin in the 1st round out of West Virginia. Now, Bruce Irvin, if you don't remember, was a defensive end. Bounced around the league a lot. He had some substance issues, he had a suspension for a substance issue. I think he got tossed from the Super Bowl, too. I think he's the only player ever ejected from the Super Bowl, if memory serves.
I don't remember that.
Okay. They followed that up by drafting Bobby Wagner and Russell Wilson in rounds 2 and 3.
Yeah, Utah State and Russell Wilson. I think
Wisconsin is where he finished.
NC State and Wisconsin. But I remember when he got drafted, a lot of people did feel like Russell Wilson could ultimately be a really good quarterback.
And I think they were reading, I can't remember who it was, but they gave the draft an F. And they're like, they've drafted a quarterback that doesn't fit their system. And they've drafted Bobby Wagner out of Utah State. Those guys ended up being phenomenal football players. And even in the write-up,
the best quarterback in Seattle history and the best linebacker in Seattle history, not even questionable.
And they got them rounds 2 and 3. So it's not always what happens at the top round. Sometimes you miss on those, obviously. And but they were like, this shows why Pete Carroll is not ready to be back in the NFL. Is what the article said. And Pete Carroll goes on to be tremendous. So when you read draft grades today, they get those wrong sometimes, too.
I hope they get them right, though, because
the Bucs are getting praised.
Several of them have Tampa Bay with an A grade. So our guy, Jason Light, man, they said Ibuka was a stretch, but the rest of the draft that he killed it. Got 2 quality corners later on. So how'd the Rams end up doing, in your opinion?
I thought they did okay. They got Jarquez.
That's
Hunter
a pick I like.
In the 4th round. The only thing I didn't like, if you're going to go running back, there was no need to go running back, in my opinion. They had gone running back in 7 straight drafts, now 8 straight drafts. You got Kyron Williams, maybe the best running back nobody talks about, and then Blake Corum last year, so I don't know where he fits. But if you were going to go running back, give me more of a Dylan Sampson who was still available.
Yeah. More of a physical between the tackle runner. Is that what he is?
A little bit.
I think there's potential for Jarquez Hunter with the Rams to be one of those guys that people are like, man, this kid's good. Why did I never hear about him at Auburn? And they go back and they're like, why was he not more of a factor at Auburn?
Yeah.
And Auburn fans will tell you, well, because he didn't touch the ball enough for some reason. They didn't give him the ball.
I go back to Jahmyr Gibbs a lot with Detroit, but I could see Jarquez having that role.
I do too.
I wanted
it's a great pick for you.
Tyler Warren, Colston Loveland, even Harold Fannin a little bit later. They get Terrence Ferguson. I trust Les Snead. I think Terrence Ferguson will probably end up being a really good tight end out of Oregon.
Yeah, Dolphins.
You know what some of the most talk for the Dolphins was their very last pick, Quinn Ewers.
Yep. Well, he's a quarterback. That gets a lot of pub.
It gets a lot of pub, but it was so late for Quinn Ewers. There are a lot of people that are now saying, boy, did he make a mistake. Instead of hitting the draft, he should have hit the portal.
I said this about Milroe. I said it about Ewers.
You said it about Ewers.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You said it before the draft.
I mean, Shedeur, in retrospect.
Playing of the year at Colorado.
If you believe them, Quinn Ewers had an $8 million NIL
Yeah,
offer.
that's what – it didn't make any sense to me because he wasn't getting drafted in the first round. Why would you not come back? And you don't have to come back to Texas. I mean, he would have been the hottest commodity out there. Yeah, he couldn't come back to Texas.
I don't think he was going to be welcome back to Texas. I think they were ready for it.
But let me ask you this. If Alabama, and I know there's a contingent now that probably would, say you're crazy, but if Alabama would have gotten Quinn Ewers in the offseason, it would feel different, the quarterback room. As good as Ty Simpson might end up being, Quinn Ewers sightseeing, a guy that has won postseason games, I think Alabama fans would have been, they would have
He
loved
makes some really, really good NFL-like throws. I'll tell you that.
He's such a likable guy, too.
He is. There's just something that keeps me from saying he's a dynamic quarterback, and I don't know what it is. Maybe it's because he doesn't run, too. I don't know why. I don't think he's a dynamic quarterback.
No, I would say this, though. He's every bit of A.J. McCarron.
And, boy, you take that in a heartbeat.
No, I'm just saying Quinn Ewers last year on Alabama's team, I think they go 10-2, and I think they get to the college football playoff.
And now, again, when you're picked in the 7th round, it's a fight to make a roster. I don't know if Quinn Ewers will ever get a shot to play any in Miami, even as a backup. Zach Wilson is Miami's backup right now. So I don't know that Quinn Ewers, you
could pay him a lot less than Zach, though.
You could if you think he's as good as Zach Wilson, which that's a pretty low bar in the NFL right now.
I think I would gamble on ceiling for Quinn instead of what you got with Zach. Just my opinion.
I don't entirely disagree, but
I don't run the aqua and orange.
You don't run the aqua and orange. I love that you're just discovering that's our colors. But
I knew the colors. I just thought they'd have some nautical names to them.
Right. But the one thing you know about Miami's backup, Dunaway, is what?
You're going to play.
You're going to make some starts.
You're going to play a lot.
So, yeah, you got to have a guy you're confident in.
All right. One more thing in this segment. Brought to you by our friends at Odie's. Odie's will give you that one more great place to go for lunch or dinner right there. The neighborhood bar, 2 locations.
Oh, great place to sit out, enjoy the spring weather on the patio. And the incredible food from Rodney Davis. He's been doing it for more than 35 years. Award-winning wings, delicious burgers, of course, the great sandwiches, that south of the border roll-up, the Diablo sandwich, ice-cold beer buckets full of the Bud Light, and, of course, the Odie's famous cup cocktails. Stop in, see Will Haver and that great staff. 2 locations, Edgewood, the original location in Crestline, Birmingham Institution, it's Odie's Tavern.
All right, so the draft odds for next year. First of all, I'll ask you this question. Do you think that Alabama keeps the streak alive and have a first-round draft pick for the 18th straight year next year?
Jeff Spiegel asked me this question on the Zone last night, and the names he threw out there were Ty Simpson at quarterback, assuming he kills it and comes out after 1 year. And
I'm going to say no.
I would not have thrown him on there. I'd gone left tackle.
He went Caden Proctor, left tackle.
Yep.
Deontay Lawson, linebacker. There was one more. Who was the other one? There were, and then I was going to get to my last one. Jeremy Bernard, wide receiver. And then he threw out the one I would say has the best chance, and that's defensive back Damani Jackson.
Damani played better than I thought, coming in from USC. Yeah, I thought he was a better player. Yeah, you just never know. 2 years ago, would we not have said Malachi Moore?
Yep.
Was going to be a first-round guy more than likely because what was he? A guy that comes in, plays the star, so respected by a guy like Nick Saban.
3rd round of the Jets, is that right?
He went 4th round.
4th round of the Jets.
Yeah, 4th round of the Jets, 130th overall. And, there's no chance Malachi Moore with his experience was going to be that kind of guy. So you just – I would lean that they have a first-round guy, but I'm not sure.
Well, on the betting board, the one you can bet odds on, only Caden Proctor makes the list. And that's obviously a short list, small list.
Yeah, he's a high-value position at left tackle. So those guys, a lot like quarterbacks, are always going to be valued.
I will tell you to save your money. Arch Manning's the betting favorite at plus 200. Arch Manning will not come out in the draft next year. He'll play 2 years at Texas as starting quarterback.
I could see that, especially with what you're making in NIL. He was patient for his first couple of years, so why wouldn't you be patient? All the Mannings have played their eligibility out, haven't they?
The funny thing is, though,
and these are odds to be the number 1 overall pick, by the way.
The funny thing is, though, the Saints have a really good shot at being the number 1 overall team selecting, don't you think?
If he wanted to play for them.
If he wanted to play for them, I mean, that'd be the time to come out right there because they'd probably draft him in a heartbeat.
I think they're higher on Tyler Shuck.
Well, they went third round with him. I don't know how high they are on him.
Yeah. Save your money. He'll come out, but I don't think he'll be a good NFL quarterback. Drew Aller plus 225 to be the first overall pick.
Boy,
Will Levis.
If my franchise has drafted Drew Aller high, I am.
Save your money. Garrett Nussmeier plus 450 to be the first overall pick.
I don't see it.
I don't either.
I haven't heard one that I can believe yet.
Lance's is still on the board. He's next. Go, Jim.
Plus 1,800. Big jump now from those three to number 4. Cade Klubnik.
Well, I think he could ultimately be the best quarterback this year, but this is not the one. I don't see him being the first overall pick.
A group of 3 players at plus 2,500.
I'm still waiting for mine.
T.J. Parker.
Okay.
Keldrick Falk. And my guy, Caleb Downs.
You think he'll be the overall number 1?
Well, I think he'll be the best available on Jim's big board.
So it'll be like Travis Hunter. Everybody said he's the best available, but he's not going to go number 1.
I don't know if a safety's ever gone number 1 overall.
I can't remember one. Boy, if Ronnie Lott didn't in hindsight, maybe he should have.
Lenore Sellers at plus 300. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to real quickly say Keldrick Falk getting Auburn back in the first round draft pick business would be good news for Auburn fans and Hugh Freeze and Auburn's recruiting efforts and all of that.
Well, that's to be the first overall, so he's a first round pick.
I'm just saying, just get back in the
I
first
want
round.
you to continue because I hadn't heard my guy yet, but I wanted to ask you if you saw over the weekend either one of you guys that since 2009, Alabama's had more players drafted than Auburn in the entire history.
That is an actual stat. Yeah.
And that is hard to believe.
Lenore Sellers.
Nope.
Carson Beck.
Is that it?
No, but I think both of those guys could be first-round guys.
Real quick, somebody asked in the chat room, where would Carson Beck have been drafted in this draft?
First round.
Oh,
no,
you
I
think?
don't think so.
I don't either.
I think so.
A lot of people are saying about where Shuck went or Dylan Gabriel.
I think he'd been a
third
first-round
round
draft pick.
Oh, we'll see next year.
After Carson Beck is Jaden Mayava.
Is he even starting now?
He will.
Okay.
Then Dante Moore.
That was my guy I was waiting on.
Is he even starting now?
I think Dante Moore will.
Yeah.
And, I just remember Neuheisel talking about Dante Moore coming out of high school, out of Detroit, and how good this kid was going to be. And, it didn't work out, but UCLA was, coaching change, a lot of different things going on. Now that he's going to be playing in this system that I think a lot of people will look at based on the success of Bo Nix under Will Stein. And then if Dylan Gabriel does somehow make a little noise with Cleveland, I think this is one of those pro-style systems a lot of scouts like. And I think Dante Moore, with his size, his athleticism, could be one of those. It's going to take a lot, but he could be kind of a dark horse.
By the way, Jackson Arnold at the bottom of that list there at plus 7,500, 7,500. Jackson Arnold on the list. John Mateer is on there. And
if you want to piss money away, try to figure out who's going to be the number 1 overall draft pick next year.
Yeah, right there.
Because you would not have gone Cam Moore this time last year. Trust me.
Probably not. All right, that's a little NFL talk. We'll jump into some college football and do 4 downs when we come back on the other side. And the very first thing we'll do in the next segment before 4 downs is we'll go to a topic that LT is pretty consistent on, this person. And we'll see if this makes LT's skin crawl like some of his other ventures have. That's on the other side on the show that's being brought to you, Brownie.
Do you know what he's talking about?
I do.
By our friends at the Regions Tradition.
I cannot wait to see your reaction to this. Are you just going to show the video without any setup?
Yeah, we'll just come out and I'll say, we'll do a sponsor, and I'll say, cue the video for sure, and then let LT live react.
Yeah, all right. Regis Tradition, it is a great, great event coming up. Is quicker than you would think, by the way. May 14 through 18. It is the Regis Tradition presented by Coca-Cola at Greystone. See some of golf's greats like Ernie Els, John Daly, Stuart Sink, and they compete for golf's most prestigious titles. They're on the Champions Tour. 4 days of thrilling shots, unforgettable moments, world-class golf, all in support of local charities. The Regis Tradition, presented by Coca-Cola. Get your tickets now.
Follow Dunaway on Twitter and Instagram at Jim Dunaway.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
Your representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of our lawyers.
For Birmingham's favorite lawn party is back. The Regions Tradition, presented by Coca-Cola, returns to Greystone May 14th through 18th. Watch golf's greatest legends and don't miss the star-studded Celebrity Pro-Am, featuring Nick Saban, Charles Barkley, Nate Oates, Hugh Freeze, and country star Riley Green. Soak up the sun at the White Claw Watering Hole and Casamigos Club. Enjoy the local food trucks and cap off the fun with Monsters of Yacht in concert Saturday following play. The Regions Tradition, presented by Coca-Cola. Get your tickets now.
Hey, you. Days warming up. Looking like spring. And at New Balance Birmingham, we've got the thing. What pops and what's fresh? Check the selects. Come together at New Balance Birmingham on Highway 280, right next to Chick-fil-A. New Balance Birmingham, we got now.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between 2 warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
There's no off-season at CoverCrimson.com. Sign up now and get daily shows plus behind-the-scenes intel that will keep your Alabama fandom rolling all the way up until kickoff. Follow Cover Crimson on all social platforms and sign up today at CoverCrimson.com. The 15th annual Logan Martin Lake Fest and Boat Show presented by AmFirst is May 9th through the 11th on Logan Martin Lake in Pell City. The Logan Martin Lake Fest and Boat Show is totally free to the public. Bama's biggest in-water boat show, 80 boats, lake lifestyle vendors, food trucks, beer garden, and live music all weekend long. There's fireworks on Friday night to honor veterans, a mermaid parade on Saturday, and free mimosas for Mama on Sunday. All by going to LoganMartinLakeFest.com, LoganMartinLakeFest.com.
As we all know, there's no off-season when it comes to college football. If you want to stay in the know with all things Auburn, join us over on thebarnauburn.com and get $25 off your annual subscription. We'll keep you up to date and give you exclusive content all the way to the first Saturday of football season on thebarnauburn.com.
We love the moments, the memories, the magic, the championships. So let's get more victories. More celebration.
He's got a chance. He won't be caught.
More unforgettable. More football. More of what you love.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Back with you on the Next Round as we roll in. Michelson Laser Vision. Before we show you the video that LT is going to react to, he'll be able to look at it with these great Pilot Vision eyes and then give us a live reaction thanks to our friends at Michelson Laser Vision.
Yeah, Dr. Mark Michelson, the first in the state of Alabama to perform the LASIK procedure way back in 1995. I got the procedure done in 2003. I had the 2200 vision, was legally blind without the aid of contacts. 2015 vision, now better than 2020. 205-969-8100. Ask for Amy Toa. The Next Round sent you. She is going to hook you up with a hassle-free consultation, zero to lose, to find out if LASIK is right for you. 205-969-8100 or michelsonlaservision.com.
There's one guy that LT consistently says he just gets under my skin. Don't dislike him, just gets under my skin. Roll the tape, Forrester.
Oh, that's beautiful Clemson, South Carolina there, Jim.
It is.
And Savannah Bananas.
Oh, a little
Who
baseball.
is this bozo?
The Savannah Banana. Oh, Lance. Here he comes. Look at him, Lance. He's going to do it. Is he going to do it? There you go.
Can't help himself.
Dabo running down the hill. Hey, get your hands off that rock.
Oh, my gosh.
Look at him.
At least it's not about him.
It's his stadium, man.
It's not his
He doesn't
stadium.
own the stadium.
Yeah.
They let the Savannah Bananas do the whole thing, the bus ride from the locker
I don't
rooms
understand
around.
the fascination. I've never seen them before, but I don't understand
Lance,
the fascination.
How many does Tiger Stadium hold? Memorial Stadium.
81,000 tickets sold for this.
81,000 people watch this.
Why doesn't UAB use this as like a way to get some fans out, right?
I don't know that they would do a venue as small as Protective right now. They're selling out massive stadiums. It's insane.
I want you to look at the Clemson field. You won't be able to see it. Maybe another aerial or something. They've got the baseball dirt cut in there.
Yeah.
They cut the baseball in there like we used to do old school at the Coliseum and wherever else we played baseball and football, the same place. It wasn't the Coliseum, but in Anaheim.
Yeah.
You guys like
Miami. Joe Robbie used to do it.
I gave up running about a year ago.
Okay. Bad for your knees.
Well, yeah, I've gotten too old. Like I've got to figure out other ways, to actually get the cardio in.
Right.
But there were different trails that I would run on, and running downhill is really it seems not as difficult as it sounds, but it really can be, especially the older you get.
Well, you actually work a different muscle.
Well, and I was just afraid on some of these, if I'm really running for distance and time and all that kind of stuff, like if you lose your balance, it happens to people all the time. If he ever loses his balance, that will go viral and he will never live that down.
No, if he rolls down that hill one day, yeah.
Well, there'll be a story at some point because Nick Saban ran out until the very last day with the team. He always ran onto the field. He didn't walk into the field.
Front
he
of the
always
line. Yep.
ran out.
Very impressive, too, at his age.
Did it until the end. There'll be a time that Dabo Swinney is coaching. Now, Nick Saban, I'd heard, said when he can't run out anymore, he knows it'll be time to shut down.
Now, he did have to get a hip replacement at one point. Yeah.
But he ran out. If there'll be a time we'll do a story that, hey, for the first time ever, Dabo didn't run down the hill this week.
He met him on the sidelines.
He walked down the hill.
Does that happen first or does he fall?
I would imagine he falls first. I played in a charity event for the Smart Play organization here. It used to be the Alabama Baseball Foundation. Helps kids a variety of different ways. Go to their website, The Smart Plays, their new name. We played a charity softball event Thursday out at Rickwood Field. And I think I asked Brown this and a couple other people up here, when's the last time you ran full speed anywhere, sprinted anywhere? And it didn't dawn on me that it had been, I can't tell you the last time. I used to, during the pandemic when I was running and working out, I would go to Herdmont Park, and instead of doing long runs because my knees hurt, I would do 100-yard sprints.
You do bursts.
Yeah. I'd run 100 and walk 100 back, run 100, walk 100 back. It had been, I can't tell you the last time, at least the pandemic last time I ran full speed. I was at first base.
Look at that.
Rounded second on the way to third. And these muscles right here, whatever they are on the top of your legs, started quivering. It had been so long since I'd run. I mean, not after I stopped, not like they were being pulled, like they started shaking like they were cold.
Yeah, it's not if you haven't done it in a long time, because I haven't sprinted in probably a year and a half, but I am doing a new workout at a new gym. Me and Jack are going. And for the conditioning, and conditioning is the most important part of this sport, but they want sprints instead of longer distance runs because they want to keep that heart rate up.
That's right.
So we're about to start these sprinting things, and I'm like,
sounds awful.
That's exactly why I was doing it. I had read somewhere that at the rate I was running, the speed I was running, the running was doing me no good. The sprinting, it does the heart rate.
Yeah. The workout I do involves zero running. I'm just not going to do it anymore. I hate it. It's bad for my knees, and I know people in the chat room are like, there are 80-year-olds that still run. I get it. I'm not 80. I'm 49, but it's bad for my knees. My knees hurt when I run.
well,
I'm
I'll
not
tell you
going to run
about,
anymore.
I have got my back issues have gotten a lot better since I stopped running.
Yep.
Yeah.
Good for you. Knock on that wood there.
Yeah,
I saw
I
that.
did.
Our friends at Bojangles brings you 4 downs. LT has those for us every day. Bojangles has something special.
Oh, Jimmy D, special? Are you kidding me? I'd run for these. I'd go full speed. If you set some of these Bo-Berry cookies out there in the lobby, I'd run full speed for them. Look at those things. Tell me they don't look good.
That looks like next level flavor.
It's your next level flavor from Bo-Berry cookies. At your local Bojangles, it's bow time.
Didn't mean to read
First down.
Didn't mean to read your script there, Brownie.
It was a curveball. I wasn't expecting that.
More starts over the next 2 years. Deshaun Watson or Shedeur Sanders?
Shedeur Sanders. They would cut Watson today if they could. They just can't do it.
Well, they're even talking about cutting him next year, and I think the dead money in next year is $56 million or after this season.
I think they have zero interest or expectation of him ever playing again.
I think that's going to go down as the worst trade in NFL history.
Yeah, worst trade, worst contract.
I mean, three future first rounds and the money you gave.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And at this point, do you think the last time he had surgery, they paid the team doctor to, hey, just leave a scalpel or
leave
something in there?
Sponge.
Yeah, something that we have to do another surgery to go back and correct it so that we can.
If he was to get
defer
staff
some
and
money.
lose a leg, how does that look contract-wise?
Yeah, do we have insurance on this?
I'll go Shedeur as well. Tell me, I don't know if this is question number 2, but do you think Shedeur starts a game this year?
I do not.
I do.
I disagree with Lance. I think Flacco's your starter.
Well, and look, it might be. They've had 40 different quarterbacks starting since 1999. That is 10 more than the next franchise. You know who the next franchise is? Most quarterbacks since 99?
Oh, wait a second. Since 99?
I know why 99 is the cutoff there. I'll go the Miami Dolphins.
I, too, would go to the Dolphins.
Believe it or not, it's the Bears.
Is it the Bears, really?
Yeah.
Dolphins are in the discussion.
I had to go Buccaneers in my head first, but we've actually been pretty stable, relatively speaking.
If you were to tell me the Browns have 4 different starting quarterbacks this year, it would not blow me away based on the fact that they're trying to find their quarterback of the future, and Stefanski's trying to save his job.
Yeah. But, if you're playing 4 quarterbacks, he has not saved his job.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, they're in a lot of trouble.
Oh, and that's a really difficult division for them. That said, still don't know who Pittsburgh's starting at quarterback.
Yes, you do.
Who? Aaron Rodgers?
Aaron Rodgers. They showed you that in the draft.
I think the further we get away from that, the less chance it becomes. And I think Aaron Rodgers, he's gotten in dangerous territory as well, because if nobody ends up signing him, is he then going to just retire and make it look like he did this on his own?
Well, you leave that door open. Absolutely.
Second down.
Harper Lee would have been 99 years old today.
What? Only 99? I would have thought older, yeah.
Who had the bigger impact on the state of Alabama, Harper Lee or Gene Stallings?
You were going to say Nick Saban. I was like, it's not even close.
It's Gene Stallings and not even close. I mean, Harper Lee wrote one book. She's recognized by that book a lot. I don't know if people tire to Alabama often, but I don't know how many people go back to that book.
Oh, they do?
All the time.
Oh,
That's
yeah?
the main thing she's known for, is being an Alabama writer.
Yeah, I think that
I'm talking about nationally.
Impact on literature, I mean, that is viewed still as one of the greatest fictional books of all time. Gene Stallings, I mean, he won a national championship with a great defense, but pretty overrated coach.
Did he win a Southwest Conference championship? I don't want to put you on the spot here.
He did, but he had a losing record everywhere except Alabama. Yeah. I mean, now a lot of people point out that he was coaching a not a military institution, but an institution with a lot of military ties during Vietnam, and that might have affected his rosters. I don't know.
Well,
that
did you know Harper Lee wrote To Kill a Mockingbird with a number 2 pencil?
I did not know that, Lance. That seems hard to do. Keep it sharp.
I mean, there's
really don't know that,
some debate. I mean, you can get into a rabbit hole whether she even wrote the book or not.
Oh, really? There's a debate about that?
Yeah. You check me. It's not Capone, but it's
Truman Capote.
Is that a guy?
Truman Capote?
Yeah, I mean, they were buddies.
Yeah.
So a lot of people think Truman Capote wrote.
Yeah, but didn't want to put his name on it.
Really? Why would he not? That's a classic.
I don't think it's going to be a classic, Brownie.
You talking about
until it gets published?
Keeping her afloat for a long time.
Yeah. But then she had the follow-up, which was not good. People killed it.
Like Jack Nicholson thought he was always raised by his mom, which was his sister, and then he found out it was his grandparents later in life.
Is there some controversy, though, Jeeves, that whether she wrote it or not?
Not whether she wrote it or not. It just seems like there was just some beef between two writers that used to be friends.
Her and Capote?
Yeah, but it says Capote might have helped Lee write it, but I haven't seen anything confirming it here. There's no...
Yeah, he could have just been a paid ghostwriter to fill in some blanks here and there.
Now, can you repeat what you just said about Jack Nicholson?
Yeah, so Jack Nicholson was raised by his sister. He thought it was his mom.
But it ended up being his grandparents?
His grandparents, yeah. No, wait, let me get this.
All right,
back this up.
I'm
His
confused.
sister was his mom. He was raised by his grandparents. He thought they were his paternal parents. And then once he got out of high school, then he was told that your sister is actually your mom.
His sister gave birth to him?
Yeah.
But it's his actual sister?
No.
No.
Okay, I'm lost.
His mom got pregnant young.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, so she was viewed as his
mom
sister.
gives-
Got it.
gives
Okay,
kids
okay.
to
Grandparents raise the
grandparents
kids.
to
Got it.
kids.
Yeah, this
Okay.
actually happens a lot. I went to high
Yeah.
school with a
Yeah.
girl that pretended to be her daughter's sister for a long time.
But she was actually the mom.
But
yeah.
the cat always comes out of the bag, and
At some point, yeah.
probably better to learn early.
Yeah.
But anyway, my point there was going to be, if you're Harper Lee's kid, and you're like, my mom was, wrote the greatest piece of fiction in history, and then you find out, damn, it wasn't her.
It was Truman Capote.
Yeah.
I don't even know him.
Apparently, I was way off base, according to Tyler.
Just a little squabble amongst writers.
I thought there was some discussion and a theory on whether or not she had written it.
I
or
think
not.
Harper Lee could have taken Truman Capote.
Let me ask you, Harper Lee was alive when we started this show. When did she
Yes,
pass?
she passed during the course of this show.
Yeah,
I
she
think
did.
so.
Yeah.
Within the last 15 years.
Because I remember it might have been Four Downs' biggest one-hit wonder, because Chris Columbus and Harper Lee, right?
Yep. Yeah, I would say so. Did you guys like the movie, the Gregory Peck movie?
It was not bad.
I like it.
Remember who played Boo Radley?
Who was it?
Robert Duvall.
Yeah, Bob Duvall.
Yeah.
I like the scene where at the end of the trial, everybody has left except all the African Americans that are up in the balcony.
Pretty powerful.
Yeah, when Gregory Peck starts to leave, you can hear the chairs squeaking. I got chills just saying it. When they stand up and then he says to Scout, stand up, your father's walking by.
Yeah, I'm a
That's
little
such a good
surprised.
scene.
It
That's
was a
good scene.
great movie. I'm a little surprised they haven't redone it. I mean, we redo everything, right?
Yeah, I think you could now.
I think you could too.
Again, not that everything comes from Shakespeare, but isn't a little bit of what we did with not that John Grisham stole the idea or anything, but the sweatiest movie of all
A Time to Kill. It was about raping a little girl. I don't think.
I know, but isn't that a little bit of?
I mean, it's based in the South.
But isn't it a little bit of the same theme as To Kill a Mockingbird?
Well, both of those were based on real life stories.
Yeah.
So
I mean, in the sense, can a black man get a fair trial in the Deep South?
Yeah, at a certain time.
Okay.
No.
Yeah, we have seen that theme.
Yeah. Yeah, that one's been hit a lot.
Yeah, hard to bring To Kill a Mockingbird back after the sweatiest movie of all time.
I think it could play.
I think Gregory Peck's performance still holds up. I don't know if I'd want it to see.
Did he win an
remake.
Academy for that?
I don't think so. No.
You don't have to look it up. It's not worth it. Always feel sorry
Was
when
that
Tyler.
4?
No, it was
second.
2.
That's what I thought.
Third down.
We can't move on until Tyler hits the button.
Tyler, has he ever told you that before? Jessica Alba, 44 years old today. Better career, Jessica Alba, Jessica Biel.
Oh, interesting.
These two have always been compared. I've always thought if we're just going pure looks.
Oh, that's not even close.
Yeah, it's Jessica Alba.
Yeah,
But I can tell you, he doesn't even have to say it. I'll tell you where Dunaway says Jessica Biel peaked.
Yeah.
You know it too?
Oh, no, I probably do.
Yeah, where
it was
Jessica
a really
Biel
bad
peaked-
baseball movie.
peaked Jessica Biel, yeah.
But
Summer Catch.
Hatto backwards. catch
Summer
of the
Catch.
ball.
I bet I know why you think Bill is at least close, maybe better.
I don't think she's better, but is close because she's married to Justin Timberlake, first off.
First of all, I mean, how real is the marriage?
Been a long time.
They got kids, and they've been still together forever and ever.
You think they live together?
They do a lot.
When he's not on the road.
Jessica Alba's got
she
her.
has a very successful career herself.
Yeah, but Alba's got her own like clothing line, mascara, something where I think she's close to a billionaire. I think. Check that for me, Jeeves.
Nick Saban's close to being a billionaire.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. There's talk he becoming the first sports coach to be a billionaire.
Did you read that article? Yeah, it was a recent article. Did you read it?
Million.
Huh?
$340 million for Alba.
For Alba?
Yeah. So
There was
not close to a
There
billion.
was an article last week. I read it. It's a fascinating article. The man that is going to make Nick Saban a billionaire is the title of the article. And it's about the guy that got him into the car business, basically, and how that car business has exploded.
You say not close to a billion. Where she was 10 years ago, Jessica Alba, she's got a really good opportunity of becoming a billionaire.
I'd like to be that.
$340 million to.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like saying that Aaron Judge is going to break Bonds' record. I mean, he could.
No, but I'm saying Jessica Alba was probably worth $30 million 10 years ago.
I'd like to be a third of the way to being a billionaire.
Oh, I would too.
I mean, how much does
You tell me-
what is the speculation on net worth now?
$500 million. Those auto dealerships, I mean, they are the highest end auto dealerships just about that you can get.
They say his next purchase is a professional franchise.
See, I don't see that.
That he'll be part of an
I don't
ownership
see that.
group.
Maybe part of an ownership group. I don't think he'll ever be, like.
Well, he doesn't have. He
doesn't have that kind of money.
He have billions to buy it, be the majority.
Let me ask
owner.
you this: if he was Arthur Blank and owned the Falcons, Ulbrich today, how does he handle that situation?
I mean, Arthur Blank could be pretty ruthless.
Yeah.
I don't know that he would handle it much different than Blank will.
I really believe the Tennessee Titans are on the board for where they're targeting their purchase.
For Saban's group to buy? Or a group involving
And that's
Saban?
still the Adams family?
Yeah. Amy Adams Strunk, I think is her name.
Yeah.
Is the principal owner, I believe.
Yeah.
Is he going to bring baseball to Nashville too? Just own both?
In the article, it says multiple professional franchises.
I think everybody wants.
So are we going Alba or are we going Bill? I'm going Alba.
I'll go Alba.
I'm going to go Alba, but I mean, Jessica Bill's had a very good career.
4th down.
Alba, I go back to the animated movie. It's not animated, but it's
Sin City.
Sin City.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you call that kind of movie?
It's based on a graphic novel, so I don't know how you would.
But
So Frank Miller did it.
It's sort of shot where it's not animated, but it's not normal looking
Yeah.
either. It has a look to it.
300, same thing, but these are all graphic novels, and I think that's kind of
the genre.
The way they shot it. That was Frank Miller's. I guess 300 might have been too, right?
Yeah, 300 was a graphic novel, and then so was Watchmen.
But
which came out around the same
Jessica
time.
Alba, Into the Blue with Paul Walker. She don't wear clothes in it. She's always scuba diving and running around in her jean shorts and her bikini top. That's stronger than Summer Catch.
It is, but something about her hat turned around backwards. Catching a baseball.
Yeah.
4th down.
Jay Leno, 75. Better
Who?
career. Jay Leno.
Jay Leno, okay.
Or Josh Allen.
I hadn't thought about Jay Leno in forever.
It's been a minute. To his credit, the last time I remember thinking about him was when he showed up with half his face bruised and he fell down a hill at a Hampton Inn, is what the story was.
Yeah, we talked about it.
Make a lot of sense. Yeah.
And some people thought the mob had gotten a hold of it.
Apparently, he is the primary caregiver for his wife, who is suffering with the worst stages of dementia.
Yeah.
And he doesn't allow anybody else to take care of her, that he does it himself.
That's very noble.
That really is.
Yeah.
Leno.
Boy, and that'd be tough with that kind of money, too.
Yeah, I was never a huge fan of Leno. Basically, in my childhood, you had Johnny Carson. And then when Carson was done, you picked a side, Letterman or Leno. I always picked Letterman over Leno.
Me too.
If I watched one of them, it was Letterman.
Yeah, I didn't
more than
like
Leno.
either.
Yeah. I like Letterman. I never liked Leno.
Yeah. And then a lot of people hate Leno because of the whole Conan O'Brien dust up, which I remember happening as I remember the story. I don't know, I'm looking at Tyler, who probably wasn't even live, but as I remember the story, they go to Leno and say, we need a retirement plan out of you because we like this Conan O'Brien guy. Leno gives them a retirement plan, which involves him hosting a primetime show, I think.
Yep.
Like an interview show.
It was on NBC when I was there. It was horrible.
Yeah, and it was a disaster, and then O'Brien's ratings were a disaster too. So they moved Leno back, and that was when O'Brien was like, I'm not moving. I'm either quitting or doing the Tonight Show. And they said, well, I guess you're quitting. And he said, okay, I'm out. That's how I remember the story.
That's the way it went. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And a lot of people hate Leno for that. They feel like he backstabbed Conan O'Brien in the end.
Okay, so Leno has obviously made a lot of money. And
Leno versus who?
Josh Allen. If Josh Allen wins a Super Bowl,
But then it's Josh Allen.
Well, if you're going by money, Leno's got a
bundle.
Leno's got a ton. Just in his
I'm just
car
okay.
collection.
So let's do this: impact of Josh Allen on football, impact of Leno on entertainment.
I would go impact of Leno on entertainment.
Oh, I would too.
Yeah.
God, Josh Allen was so good this year.
He was, but he's never won a Super Bowl.
Hey, randomly, I don't know if you guys saw this at the Tigers. Is it still Comerica Park? But
Sure.
some chick was bringing 2 beers down behind the backstop.
She fall?
It looked like she just turned her ankle. She might have broken it, but the beers went everywhere. They were showing it on MLB Network. And they cut back, and all this personnel was there helping her. So I don't know what happened.
Oh, no.
I think she might have broken her ankle.
That's a bad look. That is 4 downs.
That's it.
Brought to you by our friends at Bojangles.
Yeah, that's right. Don't forget those Bowberry cookies at your local Bojangles. Great way to sweeten up any day at your local Bojangles. It's bow time.
When you like a show that's out, you can watch them all. Do you find yourself not watching them too fast, that you will watch something else? Even though you want to keep watching the show because you don't want to burn through that show too fast?
And I want to break up the monotony of the show a little bit.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so like last night, I watched an episode of Mobland which, by the way, the Eddie, the kid, I don't want to say that Jax Ulbrich is as bad as he is, but the Eddie kid is just awful. But then I also watched The Last of Us.
Yeah.
So
but you don't want to burn through Last of Us too much.
Well, but I mean, it's weekly anyway.
Okay.
But even when I was watching Black Mirror, I'd watch 1 or 2 episodes, and then I'd sneak in, The Pit. I'm still watching The Pit. Are you still watching it?
We're all in on The Pit now because we're doing White Lotus in The Pit, and White Lotus season 2 has just lost all of its
So you guys
steam.
are not through with The Pit?
No.
I had the best White Lotus. I couldn't sleep last night. Tell me this would not be a great idea. You bring Tom and Shiv from Succession into
good.
White Lotus.
Yes.
And just, it's really their characters, but you just work it in with everything else. I mean, how awesome would that
could
be?
Could Greg be working at the hotel front desk like he's typing and he sees him walk in? It'd be phenomenal.
Well, you could do, there's
Or
probably an
Greg's
angle
the-
you could
Greg's
bring him
the
in.
hotel manager.
But the word is it's going to be in Mexico or Egypt this year.
Yeah.
But I would love to see that work.
Season 2 just lost all the steam for me, so we went to The Pit. Well, now I still want to see how season 2 turns out, but when do you go back to it? I guess I got to get done with The Pit first.
Oh.
I think we're episode 10 of The Pit, so we're getting close.
15 episodes.
Yeah.
I'm on 8.
To put it in perspective, the nurse got punched.
I haven't seen that yet.
So you're
sorry. Spoiler alert. You don't know which nurse it is.
You just said 8. You said 10. Put it in perspective. You did a spoiler.
Well, he didn't know which nurse got punched.
Yeah.
Annoying voice.
Do you not like it?
What?
The Pit.
Oh, I do.
No, I think it's.
I've got a lot of. I mean, with the draft and the NBA playoffs. I mean, I'm just all over the place.
I
right
burned
now.
through The Pit because of my travels, and that's when I watched it.
Yeah, you said with all the.
I only watched 1 episode at home, 14 on the road.
That's amazing.
And I still try to sneak movies in. Like I watched Black Bag. I was telling the guys in the back room, which I thought was fantastic.
But I all this to say that I just to kill an hour and 30 minutes last night. I think the episode's about 40 minutes. I got suckered in because I don't even know her name, but she played Lila Garrity on Friday Night Lights.
Was that the blonde that worked at Applebee's?
No, not the blonde. The other one that dated the quarterback that got that.
Amika Kelly.
Yeah, it's Mika Kelly.
Yeah. Rusty Canyon or something like that. It was on the. It was number.
Josh Duhamel. It's a soap opera. Basically, it's like a piss poor production Hallmark version of Yellowstone.
It's a Hallmark. That's what I was going to say. Hallmark version of Yellowstone. I watched 2 episodes.
If Yellowstone was at Christmas.
And you know me, I'm totally honest here on the show, right?
Right.
I'm totally honest on the show. So it's number 2, and I'm like, okay, and it's got.
Hadn't seen any titty yet.
It's got Lila Garrity on it, so I click it. Not sexual situation. It's got the word nudity up in the left-hand corner.
I've seen that, yeah.
Okay, I'm like, okay, nudity. There's at least a chance it could be Lila Garrity here.
Uh-huh.
So I'm watching.
You still play this game like we're in the 80s, right? Watching Porky's.
So I'm watching the Rusty Canyon or whatever it's called. I'm watching the first episode. There's no nudity at all.
None whatsoever.
So that's false advertising.
That's
First of all, they
right.
have suckered me in.
Right, a strongly
Not
worded
sexual
email.
situation,
Yep.
sexual content.
Nudity, straight
where
up.
I occasionally see a boob on
That's
sexual
right.
content or sexual
Yeah,
situation.
but they show a man's ass now. They're going to call it nudity.
None of that. It was not. I was.
You would have taken that, right?
Either gender.
Sorely disappointed.
Either gender, nudity, none.
All right.
To the point I checked to make sure I was not watching the censored version if there was one. So episode 2 pops up again. Nudity is there again. The word nudity now. Whole second episode. Not a butt, not a boob, not a bare foot. There's nothing that gets you to
So
nudity.
can you even explain the plot? It looks like
not even a swimsuit. There's some gas and line company in Athens that are coming in.
I don't know. There was no tit though.
Also not Athens.
When I'm jumping around trying to find something, I'll watch like the extended trailer. Like you hang on it for a second, it's going to show you a trailer. I saw the trailer for that and it was like line dancing, and I was like, this thing is going to be one of the biggest flops.
A lot of bourbon drinking.
The most recent White Lotus I watched, the warning, because I look at the warning every single time too, was smoking. I think that was the only thing.
They've got to put smoking.
Smoking.
Yeah. They put Yellowface up there now too. Have you noticed
Smoking.
that?
I have not seen that yet, but smoking, and it starts with a sex scene.
Yeah.
Like first rattle out of the box is a sex scene, and I'm like, do we not warn for that anymore?
Yeah.
Now that's on HBO Max. When I'm watching HBO Max, I just assume I'm going to see stuff that you won't see on normal TV.
But
I don't really need the warnings.
I mean,
I don't look every time.
I don't want to call Shunnarah because I know he's busy, but I feel like we get some money out of Netflix for false advertising there.
I don't know how many people actually look at that and they're like, I'm all in on this
I'm just
Lake
saying,
Canyon or
it
Hallmark
pops up,
Canyon.
and it never says nudity, but it said flat out nudity, and there was none, zero.
I think what that is for,
unless I was doing show notes and I missed a quick
it's a
run
pre-warning on what might offend you. I don't think that's supposed to suck you in. Gory violence, decapitation. I'm in.
Number 2 in America on Netflix. It was number 1.
Will you continue to watch it? I mean, kind of now you've entered the maze. You need to see if you can find your way out. Or
I
at
may
least
watch
find
it
the
on
prize.
Fast Forward, I'll tell you that. All this bourbon drinking.
What was it?
Blabber.
I know they
down.
highlighted it in the movie Knocked Up with Seth Rogen. But wasn't the guy called Mr. Skin where you could go to Mr. Skin?
Oh, it told you the time code?
Yeah. No, I don't know if that exists anymore, but it was
It did back in the day.
Yeah, there was a boob at like 417 or something. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Pornhub might have wiped that whole thing
you're
out.
pretty hard up if you're trusted on that one.
It's a new hour of the show. If you want your chicken with skin on it, you get it right there at Champy's Chicken. Not skinless. Champy's Chicken, Highway 119 in Alabaster. Sterling will take care of you down there with the best lunch available. Just go by there and say, hey, was listening to the guys on the next round. They talked about a destination location for lunch, something that's good southern fried eating. You get that at Champy's Chicken, champyschicken.com, Highway 119 in Alabaster. The chicken's brined overnight, cooked to order, chicken fingers. You got Mississippi Delta recipe tamales and so much more. Go check it out. Highway 119 in Alabaster. It's the best. champyschicken.com.
Call the next round now at 205-734-0923.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
Hey, for all of your IT and printing needs, reach out to our friends at Xerox Business Solutions. Look, I'm still one of those old school guys. I print my notes every single day for the show. If you watch the show here on The Next Round, you see all the notes in front of me. From day one, Xerox Business Solutions, they've been with us here at The Next Round. Local for over 45 years. For all of your IT and printing needs, visit XeroxBusinessSolutions.com or call 205-969-3000. That's 205-969-3000. Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop, rare quality, well-done service.
Birmingham's fastest party returns to Barber Motorsports Park May 2nd through 4th. Medical Properties Trust presents the Children's of Alabama Indy Grand Prix powered by AmFirst. Experience 3 days of high-speed action featuring the fastest drivers in the world from the IndyCar Series. Enjoy the Kids Zone, food trucks, beer garden, Ferris wheel, fan zone, and more. The Children's of Alabama Indy Grand Prix powered by AmFirst. Kids 15 and under get in free. Get your tickets now.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between 2 warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit urologycentersalabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. I mean, where else are the scenic views as good as your view of the game? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the next round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
All right, final hour of the show, as I said before the break, brought to you by our friends at Champions on Highway 119 in Alabaster. Chad Baker-Mazara is at USC. Brandon, what kind of reaction did you get in the MyBookie.ag chat room?
Well, I think Auburn fans, I don't know if it's the 7, what is it? How many steps of grief do you go through or whatever?
There are 12.
12, so now you've let go. Now that he's at another
12
place.
12 steps when I'm alcoholic.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's 12 steps of sobriety. I don't know. Anyway, I think a lot of the Auburn fans now have moved on to good riddance. Go play at USC. I'm glad he's gone. That type of attitude.
Yep. That's what will happen now.
I think initially when he left, there were some that kind of wanted to see him stay, but then you thought it was a shakedown, maybe. It
was a shakedown.
Yeah, or that he was just he overreacted. Whatever it was. But you could talk yourself into him still being an Auburn Tiger. When you see him committed or in another uniform, that's when you're like, okay, good riddance.
So my question though, LT, is will they ever come out the other side of that grief and remember what he did for them? Or will he forever wear this on his back? Will he be back at Auburn Arena in the future? Will he be cheered? I mean, because that's the next chapter of this. Where will Chad Baker-Mazara be in Auburn's legacy?
Yeah, I think Auburn is past celebrating just Final Four appearances. I think if they would have closed the deal and won a national championship, then I think there was an opportunity for him to come back and be celebrated. I don't know if they're ever going to celebrate, and maybe they will because of a guy like Janai Broome.
Well, I think in during the conference schedule in, God, that's going to sound weird, 2035, ladies and gentlemen, 10-year reunion of the 2025 Final Four team, and they announce everybody. Janai Broome will get the biggest cheer. Todd Pettiford may not be able to be there because he's in the NBA. Still playing. But he would get a big cheer. I still think Chad Baker-Mazara would get a big cheer if he doesn't torch this thing on the backside. Like if he's at USC and he's just dogging Auburn out all the time.
Yeah,
that's different.
Auburn starts 3-6 next year, and he's sending out a tiger emoji with laughing or something.
Yeah,
I agree with you. If he, because I think Auburn fans now you try to sell yourself okay, he wasn't going to be the leader. If he would have come back, he would be viewed as that guy because of the experience in the program, all that kind of stuff. He wasn't going to be that guy. He was way too emotional, so probably it's not a big deal that he's gone now. But to sell it back the other way, as long as he stays quiet, I think it's,
So what about, how they do during those TV timeouts? Direct your attention to the 20-yard line where athletic director John Cohen welcomes back Auburn quarterback Bo Nix. How is he? How's Jordan Hare stating to Bo Nix right now?
Well, I think still good.
Yeah, I think it's more. I think if you really talk to Auburn fans, and we could ask Scott Forster right now, is it one of those things where you're like, damn, how did we miss on Bo? We knew coming in to his college career that this guy was highly regarded, 5-star from some services. The first scene we get, he leads this miraculous last-second drive against Oregon. And then it becomes, is he good enough to start for Auburn? And then he goes to Oregon, and he's a Heisman finalist. And now, in year one as an NFL rookie, he takes the Denver Broncos to the postseason. So I think Auburn fans are like, how did we not get this version of Bo Nix? With that said, I think they can stomach him because I think they still believe Bo is kind of one of theirs. But, we could ask Forrester.
Yeah, I think there's still – me personally, I've still got a ton of love for Bo. I think, Auburn just didn't put enough around him. And you had Brian Harsin there, too.
What about Chad Baker?
Yeah, what is it the basketball team does where they spell something out and they got the celebrity that's
he's the A-B-U-R-N?
He's the N?
I think so.
So if he's the N, 8 years from now, Scott, what would the reaction be?
8 years from now, I think there'll be some, there's applause for Chad.
Okay. Applause.
Helped him get to a Final Four.
Applause.
Thanks. But, I think it's time to move on.
Yeah. Chad Baker-Mazara to USC. Bill Belichick's awkward interview with CBS. We can't show it to you. We'll talk about it right after LT tells us about our friends at Hemp Hill.
Hemp Hill Services right now offering $1,000 off the new HVAC systems plus 0% financing. Hunter came out multiple times over the last couple of weeks to check out my system, make sure it's ready to keep up with this changing weather. Whether you experience plumbing, heating, or cooling issues in your home or business, they are ready to serve you. Call Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys there. Hard to stop a train, 205-229-2090 or hemphillservices.com.
The College Football Spotlight
is presented each day by our guy Alexander Shunnarah. It's the Shunnarah Spotlight, and Alexander Shunnarah was on a mission to create a firm that could handle any issue his community faced. So Shunnarah's firm now handles not just personal injury claims, but claims for fire and storm damage, bad drug and device claims, disability, workers' compensation, and a host of other claims. If you find yourself in need of a lawyer, call Alexander Shunnarah Trial Attorneys. You pay nothing unless they win your case. Shunnarah.com. That is Shunnarah.com.
Okay, before we do the Belichick girlfriend thing, Alabama had an interesting fact happen. The football portal closed at midnight on Friday. Some stragglers through the paperwork, but turns out Nick Kelly and others reporting that Alabama's roster lost 0 scholarship players in this portal. How many other SEC teams can say that, Lance?
I would say 0. I think if you looked at the Power 4, I'd be shocked if there's anybody else in the Power 4 that
I don't
didn't
know
lose
about
anybody.
the Power 4, but you are correct. Alabama, the only one in the spring portal not to lose a scholarship player. And I will tell you from personal knowledge, there were some people concerned going into the portal out of the spring that there would be a player or two that could leave that we'd recognize.
Brown, I mean, first of all, in 2025, this is impossible. When you've got a quarterback room that really is undecided, I know what Ryan Grubb said if we had to start a quarterback today, it would be Ty Simpson. Multiple talented quarterbacks never stay around.
Yep.
I mean, this is just something you don't see. And if I'm an Alabama fan, this is a major positive.
Oh, it's a huge positive.
You went through the transition of the greatest to ever do it to Kalen DeBoer. I think there were some Alabama fans. I'm not sure. I even heard it over the weekend. He's just not emotional enough to be Alabama's head coach.
I love that.
But I think there's got to be something said that now he feels more comfortable bringing in Ryan Grubb back and having his fingerprints all over the program. If all of those guys have decided not to leave, they're seeing something as well, and they're buying into the program right now.
Yeah, I think it's a vote of confidence for what Kalen DeBoer is doing. It shows that this group buys in. They believe in him. They want to play for him. They believe in Ryan Grubb. They believe in Kane Womack. So I think that's huge if you're an Alabama fan to look at that. I'm curious if you guys had another reaction that I had.
I did. I tweeted it out. I'll see if it's the same as yours.
Doesn't this speak highly of Alabama's NIL efforts?
Exactly.
Is that what you tweeted out?
I got some blowback for people saying, "Oh, so you're saying they only stayed for money?"
No. But I am saying they didn't let anybody pick them off.
That's
for money.
exactly right.
Yeah.
If you've got players, Brownie,
that's right.
I'm glad you brought that up because if you've got players nowadays with Alabama's roster, and I know it's not Nick Saban's elite roster what it was, but it's still a dang good roster coming off a great couple of recruiting classes, that nobody could come in and overpay to take one of your players, that says something about Yay Alabama.
Or no player is in, Yay Alabama's office or Kalen DeBoer's office bitching about what they're getting. Like everybody seems to be in a good spot with where they are, whether, from Ryan Williams to the last guy that's getting any money from the NIL, everybody must be content with where they are, which to me speaks highly of your NIL efforts.
Yeah, and this is normally negative publicity. I mean, you see the Nico situation, and A lot of people are like, power T, Tennessee handled this thing the wrong or the right way, but the last thing you want to see is talented people leaving.
That's right, and it's been a topsy-turvy time for that roster since Nick Saban made the announcement. Caleb Downs could be the best player on the board next year in the NFL draft. He was an Alabama player, so that's the kind of talent that's walked out the door. To have nobody leave and get bought by somebody else, and that's legal. I'm not saying that in a negative way. I thought that spoke volumes for Yay, Alabama. And it was coming off a weekend that they were down at, a few of them were down at the Mullet Toss with our friends at the Flora-Bama over the weekend. Ryan Williams, Drake Kirkpatrick, Bray Hubbard, and Bachway, they're all down there at the Mullet Toss at the Flora-Bama enjoying it. And apparently Ryan Williams, I don't know the distance, and I've seen the video, but he had an unbelievable toss with the mullet. Like, he had it balled up the way you're supposed to ball it up and let one fly on the mullet toss.
Do you remember the video last year of Milroe doing it? Do you think that video is different if Milroe's doing it this weekend after the Seahawks drafted him? Like, if he was at the mullet toss?
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. People in Seattle, first of all, they would be like, wait a minute. In Alabama, they throw fish on the beach?
There's Ryan.
There's Ryan Williams.
Now, Alabama fans are yelling, just run the fish if it's Milroe, right?
Just run the fish. Throw it to the tight end.
I still have never been to the mullet toss.
I haven't
either.
It looks like plenty of people are there, so I don't think they're going to miss me, Lance.
Weather was perfect down at the
It
Flora-Bama.
was, wasn't it?
All right.
Did you see the story about Worship on the Water? I meant to send it to you guys.
I did not, no.
So this is really cool. For those that do not know, on Sundays, and we've talked about it on the show before when we've been to the Flora-Bama, it's just such a cool idea. In the tent, which is a tented area that is attached to the Flora-Bama, they do a church service every Sunday. It's called Worship on the Water.
I have been to that.
You've been to it?
Yep.
What was your, did you enjoy it? I mean, was it
I
a good
did.
service?
I thought they had a high energy, younger, much like George.
Yeah.
Younger pastor.
George is George Wright, the pastor
Yeah.
at my church, Shades Mountain Baptist. That's who Lance is referencing.
It was a really good message the day I was there. It was really, really crowded, and it was exactly what you think. It was such an eclectic mix of people. But I thought it was really, really well done.
And we've been told stories from the Flora-Bama people of people that just stumbled in to get a morning beer or a morning bushwhacker because they are open for business.
Yeah,
at the
that's
time.
how they started it. It was the only bar that you could get a drink in. Well, that's not why they started it, but there were a lot of people that would actually go there because it was the only place they could drink.
Right.
And then some of these guys stumbled into finding Christ.
And they just start listening to the message done away, and they find Christ. Well, every Easter, they move it down to the beach. So the normal worship on the water is just in the tent that's next to the Flora-Bama.
By the way, the majority of people don't drink at Worship on the Water. You can, but the majority don't.
Yeah, I mean, they'll take anybody that walks in.
They've got coffee, juice.
Yeah. 10,000 attendees, 60 of which were baptized in the Gulf that day. Isn't that incredible?
That is pretty incredible.
Yeah. I was texting with our buddy Paul Register and Steve Powers from down there about that because I think AL.com and 1819 News did a story on it. I thought that was remarkable.
10,000?
They counted 10,000 people on the multiple Easter services. They had multiple, but there was an aerial shot. I'm sure Steve got it with his drone of the tent, and then people that just had beach chairs set up around the tent. The tent was so full that people were still outside.
Wow.
Around. But yeah, 10,000 attendees, and they I think they had 60 baptisms in the actual Gulf of Mexico or of America.
It's cold water right now.
Yeah, that is cold.
Our friends at New Life, they bring you the show. A couple more things to get to in this segment, football related. New Life can take you back in yesterday. Oh, by the way, there's the
Look
picture.
at that. Oh, how gorgeous
sunrise
is that?
service there.
Yeah, they have multiple services, so I guess that was the sunrise service there. That's beautiful, isn't it?
That is. I love that place, and I love the Gulf.
Yeah, 10,000. It was like 10,200 something people that they counted that came through. So I thought that was just really cool.
We'll be back sooner than later.
Yep.
Yeah, I can't wait. Can't wait. Our friends at New Life Art gives you not as good as God with that portrait you just saw there, but Daniel A. Moore has a God-given talent there in painting great Alabama moments. DanielMooreArt.com, DanielMooreArt.com. Some great moments throughout the years that you can add to your collection, or you can go get the most recent ones. The last one we know about is the legend, Nick Saban. 6 national championship trophies. You can go get that one right there. Promo code TNR, DanielMooreArt.com, DanielMooreArt.com. So Bill Belichick has a book, The Art of Winning, that is coming out as we speak, and he's on a book tour. So he's at his old high school in Annapolis, and he has the folks from CBS Good Morning, CBS Morning, on Sunday morning, CBS Sunday Morning. I'm sure it ran this morning as well. It's a 7-minute piece. It was a sit-down interview. He's wearing his dad's old Navy coaching sweatshirt with
everywhere.
a rip in it.
Yep.
The conversation's about the book. It gets to how in the book there is no mention of Robert Kraft in the book. Not in the acknowledgments, not anywhere in the book. And the interviewer asked about, did you guys leave on bad terms? And he said, well, it was a mutual agreement we left. Well, he says you were fired.
Yeah, he blows back. He's like, Robert Kraft said you were fired.
And he says it was a mutual agreement. So he goes to the girlfriend. You know, you're at this point in your life right now, dating 24-year-old Jordan Hudson.
Is that the official age?
24 is what they say in the CBS story.
There's been some question about that among the people on the panel here.
73 and 24 is the way CBS calls it.
And you know how CBS does these interviews? Like, they'll ask a question, they'll say, during the interview, his 24-year-old girlfriend, Jordan Hudson, was ever present. And they show video of her walking up to Belichick, talking to him while they're setting up. And then
she's at the producer's table.
She's at the producer's table, which Scott's got a screen grab. You could see her at the producer's table.
And so they ask, how did you meet? And she interrupts and says, oh, we're not going to talk about that.
She's
now I'm interested.
She's not mic'd up, Lance. This is like, basically,
off camera.
Basically from me to the glass wall over there. And she interrupts the interviewer. Oh, we're not going to talk about that.
We're not going to talk about that.
I mean, like, how would you guys assume they met?
I thought it was on a plane. I thought the story was they met on a plane.
I don't know how or when, but no Robert Kraft in the book, no mention, acknowledgement, or anything. In the Ford, I think it's called, he calls her his creative muse.
Yeah. They talk about the mermaid photos. And he's super uncomfortable doing that.
They go to the Instagram. Yeah. You're now on InstaFace, as you once called it, Coach.
Yeah.
And he goes, yeah. And the reporter's throwing him softballs. I love the pictures of you and Jordan together. It shows a different side of you. And he sort of is sitting there like, yep. And the reporter's like, the ones on the beach and stuff. And you can tell he appears to have no clue of what she has posted on his Instagram account.
Doesn't he essentially say that? I was like, well, I don't really
I'm on a lot of
I'm on a lot of
social.
Yeah, but there's no way he knew this was posted, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't appear.
He knows it's being shot, obviously.
Yeah.
But I don't think he knew it was ever posted.
Wow.
That's the way it comes off in the interview.
That's probably not good for her.
I
don't know. She seems like she's in control of this deal, my man.
And I'll be upfront and honest here. I found it it was sort of sad. I'm watching one of the greatest
Is
coaches.
it elder abuse?
I don't think we're that far.
I don't know, LT. A
lot of people would sign up for that abuse if so.
Right. Can I be nice?
I will never have the balls to ask Nick Saban this because Nick Saban and him are friends.
Right.
But as I was watching it, there was part of me that wanted to ask Nick Saban, what's up with Bill? Do you feel like you should have an intervention with Bill Belichick?
Have you talked to your boy lately?
Because
I'd love to hear Terry's comments to Saban about Belichick and what is going on with your buddy.
Bill and his girlfriend want to meet us for dinner, and Terry's like,
Yeah, like what the hell am I going to talk about with her?
I think I'm going to dinner with that.
Yeah, the art of winning.
He's taking pictures of her food.
Like I'm okay. I'm okay with him writing a book. He's one of the greatest coaches of all time.
Yeah, especially if it's not Kama Sutra for the 21st century. Right?
I'm okay with him dating a 24-year-old. I don't care.
Oh yeah, I don't care.
It's just a weird deal when she's like, we're doing an interview with one of the greatest coaches of all time, who's a college football coach, one of the most powerful guys at North Carolina, and she is the one that's shutting questions down?
And you have to
weird.
Check me on this, Jeeves. Is there something called Belichick Productions that they've created, like the Sanders family has,
right?
And that she's the CEO of Belichick Productions?
Yeah.
Well, there's only one way they're going to make money on this thing.
According to Google, Belichick Productions is not an official production company, but rather a term used to describe the role of Jordan Hudson, Bill Belichick's girlfriend, in managing his media and public relations efforts, particularly around his role as the head football coach at North Carolina.
Here's Peter Burns' tweet. I've watched this at least 20 times, and I keep coming back to the same conclusion. Belichick might be being held against his will. We need to save that man. LT, I watched it.
Okay, well, let's just
go back to the screen grab you had of her. Look at her eyes. She's got crazy eyes. This may be
we know
that
this
movie with the sledgehammer?
Misery?
Misery. This may be
Kathy
Misery.
Bates. That looks a little like Anne Hathaway. I know you were talking about her in the movie Havoc last week. She's got a little Hathaway to her back in the day.
Bill, I'm going to want you to put on this ratty old Navy sweatshirt for me again and go out there and do this interview.
Now, is there a chance this thing, I mean, obviously, if they don't get married, she ain't getting anything, and I find it hard to believe he is going to marry her, but maybe he will. But if she shut this down and did an OnlyFans immediately, do you think she'd get a lot of play?
Well, yeah. I mean, there's people that'll pay for anything. It's just, I don't know, man. It's so weird.
Well, I just can't believe the distraction it's causing for North Carolina football.
I just can't believe
that. To me, that's an issue.
I mean, as accomplished as Bill Belichick is, and this is the way I would handle this, and Bill Belichick is welcome to handle it any way he wants. But the way I would handle this situation if I were in the same situation, I do not need you shutting down questions for me. I am a grown man that has done a billion of these interviews.
I shut them down myself. I'm known for shutting them down.
And if I don't want to talk about it, I won't talk about it. But guess what? If I do want to talk about it, I will talk about it. But I will make that decision. I don't need you sitting off to the side making that call for me.
Yeah. By the way, I don't need you ever to interrupt anything.
That's right.
Ever.
Yeah.
Ever.
You know what I would love to see? Tom Brady's roast tonight. Because how much would Belichick take?
Get scorched.
That picture of him playing airplane with the 24-year-old.
Yeah.
It's uncomfortable. It's bad for North Carolina. It's hurting the legacy of Belichick, in my opinion.
It is a weird look.
I mean,
it's not going to hurt it as much as if he goes out and bombs at North Carolina.
It's sort of sad looking. It's sad looking.
Well, the argument was always, is it Belichick, is it Brady? And I thought common sense was it's both. And then obviously Brady leaves. Now Mac Jones did get them to the postseason immediately, but since then it fell apart. So you've got that hanging out there when you're talking about his legacy to begin with. And so he's rolling the dice going to North Carolina, but now you bring 24-year-old in tow, and you've got this social media and these kind of interviews out there. It is very strange.
Yeah. And the book, I don't really want to read the book. It's really mostly just about winning football.
Oh, it seems like the most boring book ever.
And I'm not going to get to coach at that level again, so I don't need to read the book, I guess.
Does he just sprinkle her pictures in here and there?
Maybe. I don't know.
I'd rather read Don Quixote.
Go watch the interview. CBS this morning or CBS Sunday morning, just on the CBS site. You'll find it. When we come back, we'll do trash and one college football coach who got into it with a fan again at his spring game. That happened over the weekend. Brownie, tell us about our friends at A+. When the Browns are out looking for a quarterback, they get two of them. When the Browns are out looking for a guy to change their bathroom, there was only one guy to get.
That's right. We got one of them and just kept the one bathroom. AlabamaBathRemodels.com is the website, by the way. AlabamaBathRemodels.com. That's where you'll find Brad Bill. When it came time to redo the master bath in the Brown house, my wife Jennifer scoured the internet looking for the right person for the job. She talked to a number of contractors. She talked to people that use contractors, read a bunch of reviews. She really did her homework. That's what she does and stuff like this. She picked Brad Bell, and I am thrilled she did. His crews did tremendous work for us. Brad started by getting our vision. We had a lighter-colored bathroom. We wanted it a little bit darker and, of course, more updated. So we gave him our vision. He did it exactly like we wanted it, and we've loved every minute of it. His crews were on time every day, which is saying something. They were courteous. They were clean. At the end of each day, they would walk us through everything they had accomplished that day and make sure it met our expectations, and it did every day. Brad specializes in master bath remodels, kitchen remodels, and master bedroom remodels. That is not all he does, master bedroom closets. It's not all he does, but it's what he specializes in, and the reason is that's what is really popping right now and is what will get your money back when you go to sell your home. Here's Brad's number, 205-422-1758. That is 205-422-1758. AlabamaBathRemodels.com for Brad Bell. AlabamaBathRemodels.com. 205-422-1758. Trash is next.
Follow The Next Round on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Next Round Live.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
Your representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
You could win a Cadillac CT5 or your share of $25,000 in free play and cash at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. The more you visit, the more chances you have to win. Play the latest, most exciting games around with fun bonuses and big jackpots. You can be a winner too. Come win your share during the Cadillac CT5 and $25,000 giveaway at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. Drawings April 5th and 6th. Located off I-459, exit 31, Derby Parkway. Must be 21 or older, must be present to win.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the next round to tell you about my friends at Michelson Laser Vision, located conveniently UAB Highlands. Almost 20 years ago, I went in for the procedure. Only took 12 minutes for both eyes. When I went in, I had 2200 vision. I was legally blind. Now I have 20/15 vision, still 19 years later. Make the call today. Schedule a hassle-free consultation. 969-8100. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, Michelson Laser Vision. Make sure you tell them the next round sent you. 969-8100 or MichelsonLaserVision.com.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between two warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
The road to the Indy 500 runs through Birmingham, May 2nd through the 4th. The fastest IndyCar drivers in the world, O'Ward, Dixon, and Newgarden will put their skills to the test with one goal in mind: victory. Witness Miss America Abby Stockard give the most iconic command in all of racing as the Grand Marshal. May starts here. The Children's of Alabama Indy Grand Prix, powered by AmFirst. Tickets are selling fast. Get yours today.
Man, I love a good meal. I'm Jim Dunaway. A good meal is what you get with my friend Sterling at Champy's Chicken on Highway 119 in Alabaster. We're talking great southern fried chicken, wonderful sides, hand-cut chicken fingers, po' boys, and those Mississippi Delta recipe tamales. You got a perfect menu for everybody. Champy's Chicken is perfect for watching the big game, or taking a meal to the lake house, down to the coast, or stay in the restaurant and dine in a great atmosphere. It's all made fresh to order right there on 119 in Alabaster, Champy's Chicken.
Since you listened to my last message so well and got rid of those cargo shorts and stained t-shirts, it's time to replace them with Rhoback. Go to Rhoback.com and click on the Refresh collection to find all that you need for an EG-approved wardrobe. It includes pieces that will have you ready to hit the golf course after a busy day of meetings, or comfy favorites for travel and working from home. Get 20% off using code TNR20. See, I'm saving you some money.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
Your representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
I don't know. I just saw the most amazing thing ever.
Ever?
Yes. Tyler was going to the bathroom halfway through the break, I think.
Which our break is 4 minutes.
Because I was on my way. I went to the left for the bathroom. I was on my way back.
Yep.
On a slow walk, not even on a Dunaway bathroom sprint. Either way, I walked both ways. I was talking to Taylor about Chad Baker-Mazara going. Went to the bathroom, had a conversation with Brown and Forster in the bathroom walking back when Tyler was leaving.
Yeah, but this is not Tom Hanks in a league of their own. It's not like he's pissing for 2 straight minutes.
I mean, was it a splash and go? Did you really feel like you did your business, or you got to go back again now? You good?
Such an awkward question, Tyler.
I mean, I guess I take care of the big trip before the show.
Okay.
Big trip.
Hey, speaking of splashes and goes,
The picture.
Austin Cindric wins at Talladega. Now, Cindric is the teammate of Joey Logano. I'm not going to go into what Barstool calls him.
Cindric or Logano?
Logano. They changed Joey into almost the sound like animated character Bluey, but it rhymes with Joey. Logano.
Oh, gotcha.
And he's teammates with Cindric, but at the end of the second stage, Cindric sort of does a block move, a maneuver that helps himself, hurts Logano, and allows Bubba Wallace to win the stage, to where the in-car radio and camera catches Joey Logano going off with a rant of calling Cindric a selfish MFer. Drops how many F-bombs did you say? 3 or 4?
3 or 4 F-bombs.
Calling him an effer.
Fox had to heavily edit it.
And
stupid effer, that dumb effer.
Yeah. So that's in the middle of the broadcast, second stage. Cindric goes on to win the race. Logano finished 5th before he was disqualified for a car malfunction. Chipper Jones, who you tell me whether or not he was in the cocktails or not on a Sunday afternoon.
I'll say yes.
Tweets this. Congrats to Austin Cindric on his Talladega win. Good teammates are hard to come by, boss! ! Remember that one of yours MF'd you on national TV when in all actuality, all you did was everything possible to keep from wrecking him. Hate to be the deuces in the team meeting on Monday. Some people are hooray for our team as long as I'm the star, as every team has them. Hendricks, RCR, goes to other teams. Sometimes karma is glorious. Enjoy this one. In case anyone's confused, let me be clear. I'm talking about Joey Logano here. That from Chipper Jones off the top rope.
Chipper rambling a little bit in that tweet, yeah.
Chipper saying, hey, a great teammate there, M-effered. And then Cindric gets the win, and Logano's not the winner.
Was
gets
it
disqualified?
Was it Cindric your pick with
I wasn't going to
Furman?
bring that up, but he was.
I know you weren't, but he was your pick with Furman, right?
He was.
That's a good call.
Thank you very much.
Hey, by the way, when they don't wreck at the end of Talladega, how much more enjoyable is it?
It is, unless we're in a commercial break.
Well, Fox, Lance, I know you didn't watch it, Lance, but first of all, they go.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm certain. They go the last, I don't know when the last wreck was. I didn't pick it up till 25 laps to go. They go 25 laps with no caution.
Yeah.
Which you know how good that is at Talladega.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's just, they're humming it,
It may have been 40. It was at least 40 laps around because I think I got it at 40 laps. They did a green flag pit stop.
Yeah.
And there hadn't been a wreck.
Yeah. So Fox has clearly stacked their commercial breaks thinking, okay, we'll get a caution flag here at the end and we can burn a commercial break. Guess what? They never got the caution.
No big one.
No big one. So Fox does a commercial break, comes back, and Mike Joy's like, okay, we're going to bring you back for the last 8 laps. Like they had to squeeze another one in.
Yep.
They get it back, and it's the race to green the whole time, or to checkers the whole time.
Yeah.
There's never a stop or anything. It was great racing.
Like from lap 10 to lap 5 is in the double box, squeeze back for commercials. And it was a long break.
Yeah.
Like every time I was like, okay, we're going to get back with 7 laps to go. And then it was like, oh, here's another commercial. Here's another commercial. 5 laps to go. And finally you come back. And then it's commercial free to the end. But I remember it used to be on the Fox. It would be like commercial free, the final, our last commercial break. We'll give you the final 20 laps.
Yeah.
You know,
Which could take forever
free.
because of the green, white checkers and all that.
Yeah, it was a great crowd, though. Beautiful scene. Talladega when it's packed. I know they had some rain that, blew up Friday night on the boulevard there. They had to cancel the parade, but with the rain on Friday night. But Saturday and then Sunday's crowd, almost record-breaking. Looked fantastic. Dr. B brings you the show, and then we'll show you the one college football coach that almost lost his crap again at a spring game over the weekend.
Spring game.
Hey, I want to remind you, if you're starting to thin out, Dr. Beckenstein, best in the business, has been doing this for over 20 years for men and women, and they've got that new test from T3. So easy, painless, affordable, takes seconds to perform. It's going to show which medicines and compounds will specifically work for your hair loss. 205-319-0316. Tell them the next round sent you. T3hair.net for more information. There are over 10 categories of agents they use, knowing they will work for you. They will custom compound these agents for you in pill or topical form. You pick and choose which agents you want. Men and women ordering Hims, other products online, don't even know if they work. Stop wasting your money and critical time while you're losing hair on treatments that aren't working for you. Come see Dr. B. Find out what will work for you. Again, 205-319-0316 or T3hair.net.
All right, so coming off his best year ever, James Franklin, who's got a history of going at it with his fans at the blue and white game over the weekend, Gets into it with a fan. Look at this. In the middle of a spring game, going back to one of his fans.
Unbelievable. This guy is so thin-skinned.
Oh, you going to get him thrown out?
He calls the security over, or administrator.
What could someone have been yelling? Have you seen reports of what somebody is yelling?
We got a couple of tweets, but let this play out.
Okay.
As he walks away, and then he comes back and says, oh, by the way, happy birthday. And then he screams and walks back away from it.
Unbelievable.
What was the happy birthday for?
I don't know if it was that guy's birthday or something.
Or did Franklin want everybody to know it's his birthday?
Yeah.
He seems like that kind of guy. I'm telling you, if he ever wins a national championship, which he won't, it will be unbearable.
Unbearable.
Now, remember, this is your spring game. Hard to believe you got a troll that's in there just to do this. But a couple of tweets afterwards. I know what was said. It wasn't bad at all. It's childish. And if Franklin can't take simple heat, he doesn't belong as the head coach, says Lefty Marlins. Tyler says,
Lefty Marlins.
There's zero reason to be doing that at the blue and white, especially when he's coming off his best season ever, says Tyler.
Can't get out of his own way.
He really can't. You know, I've said this about Major League Baseball umpires. If you can't call balls and strikes with somebody yelling at you from the dugout, you're in the wrong profession.
That's right.
If you can't be a college football head coach and ignore some idiot yelling from the crowd of, I don't know, it looks like a pretty good crowd there, honestly.
Yeah.
In a spring game, I just don't know that I want you as my head coach. I mean, you got to make critical decisions under the heat of the battle. If that's bothering you, what else is going to bother you?
And let me tell you, as we start this college football season in 117 days, you'll be hard-pressed to find anyone that has Penn State not in the playoffs again.
If they don't make the playoffs, it's a massive disappointment.
That's right. Quarterback back, running back, wide receiver back.
And a conference that's going to give you 4 playoff teams, you can't be in the top 4 of that conference. They just played for the conference championship, and they got a lot of that back. Now, they lost an important defender, obviously, to the draft.
But still,
I mean, you're going to lose guys every year.
Yeah. Penn State, a national championship contender, and their coach losing his crap at a blue and white game. That gets us to trash, brought to you by our friends at Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy, Tyler.
Bag up, Terry. Put it reverse, Terry. Put it reverse. Oh, Lord, Jesus. Oh, Lord. Oh, Jesus. What you doing, Terry?
LT's Trash is presented by Bud Light.
So the avocado is kind of polarizing, right? People either like avocados and guac or they really don't.
You know, the weird thing is I like guac, but just like avocado and stuff, I'm not a big fan of.
I think I like avocado. Well, I like both a lot.
I was going to say I actually like avocado better, not in the guac. Just
Really?
on a sandwich or something like
See,
that.
I'm the opposite.
But I like guac,
Yeah.
too.
I like both a lot. In an effort to hop on the breadless sandwich trend, Which has teamed up with the popular Avocados from Mexico brand to offer a unique twist on the traditional turkey club with the introduction of the new Avo Witch sandwich. Now, the Avo Witch, which features turkey ham and bacon, topped with cheddar cheese, lettuce, tomato, mayo, and honey mustard, all sandwiched between 2 avocado halves and finished with a sprinkling of everything bagel seasoning. You can get the avocado base sandwich a la carte for $8.99. You get it as a meal deal for $13.29.
Oh, so that's in the middle of an avocado. That's not green dyed bread.
I just don't know how it holds together. If it holds together, I'm all about it.
Yeah, that's got to be a small sandwich. Didn't we do this? What was it,
A pickle.
Tyler?
It was a pickle
It was
spear.
the Pickle Witch,
Yeah.
and Scott Forrester ordered it.
Yeah, what did Scott think? Scott?
Oh, it was a disaster. It was terrible.
Did it fall apart, Scott, or it just wasn't good?
It was small. It was definitely pickly.
I'm telling you, if this thing was functional, it would be good. Like if you eat it with a fork, which I don't want to eat my sandwich with a fork, I think you could make it work.
No, I'd be okay with that, but I'm going to want a meal. I don't want it to be, do I get 4 of them?
Yeah, that is a shot of a sandwich.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
That is going to be an extremely hard pass.
Well, if you're looking for it, the Avo Witch is slated to officially hit Witch menus nationwide starting Monday, April 28, 2025. I forgot I've been to a Witch. I don't even know where they
there
are.
used to be
though.
one in Homewood. I've been to the one in Homewood.
It was on that corner. There was also a pizza place.
Yep.
And
there used to be one at the
It's now a
Summit.
theater.
Yes.
Okay.
It's been several things.
Which not well in Birmingham.
There's one at the Summit.
Used to be.
Oh.
Yeah.
In another instance of gray-on-gray crime, just reading straight from the headline here, an 88-year-old woman is accused of fleeing the scene after plowing her SUV into the mobility scooter of a 77-year-old victim who was thrown from the electric vehicle and hospitalized for her injuries.
You don't often see a granny in the orange jumpsuit. It is a shocking photo when you do.
Oh, really? Yeah. I mean, come on, you don't need to put her in the orange jumper.
Such a nice-looking lady.
Investigators say Carolyn Sechrist was driving in the parking lot of a Sam's Club in Clearwater, Florida around 8:30 a.m. yesterday when the crash occurred. Sechrist, cops charge, struck Laverne Hampton's mobility scooter with the front of her car. What kind of car do you think she was driving?
Buick.
Ding, 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 ding,
Buick
ding, ding.
Skylark.
The Buick Envision. Hampton was thrown from the scooter and was hospitalized from her injuries. Now, Sechrist, seen it right, allegedly, quote, did not stop at the scene of the crash to render aid or exchange information. 4 hours after the incident, police arrested the retired 80-year-old for leaving the scene of the crash involving serious injury, a felony. Sechrist was booked into county jail and scheduled for initial court appearance this morning. You can, detain her somehow.
Yeah.
You don't put her in general pop in an orange jumper.
Tommy Spina gets, this is the shortest case ever. She's an old lady. She was confused. She did not know. She thought she'd hit a speed bump. She just tried to drive back home and get her groceries in the house.
LT has more paragraphs. Is there a chance that this goes back to there's an old man that is in the middle of this 77-year-old and 80-year-old?
All I got, Sechrist lives about 4 miles from Sam's Club in a condo she purchased with her husband in 1987.
Boy, Scott is right. The amount of hairspray it takes for that hairdo.
Yeah.
Holy crap. Did your grandmom used to use Aquanet hairspray? My grandma did. Yeah, she used to have a can of Aquanet in her bathroom.
That does.
My grandma.
Yeah.
I think I sprayed my sixth grade wings, my Farrah Fawcett wings with Aquanet.
That is a good flamethrower, Aquanet.
Oh, yeah.
That or Lysol.
That and a Bic lighter?
Teacher facing criminal trespassing charge after allegedly showing up to a student's house unannounced to discuss a student's homework assignment. Now, William Hilt.
What's that shirt saying? I'm a clown?
Placed on leave from the Whole Prairie Intermediate School in March, appeared in court April 1st, where he pleaded not guilty to the charge. Now, according to the police report, Hilt allegedly followed a student's school bus to her house to verify she completed her homework assignment.
Oh, no.
Do we take out half the seating in the cafeteria because it's World Day?
In an email, the student's parents said they weren't aware of the teacher was stopping by the house. They found it really weird and concerning. I agree.
100%.
The police report states that when the parents confronted Hilt about why he stopped at the house, Hilt allegedly told him he was confirming that the student completed her assignment because if all students in the class did, they would earn a pizza party. Now, Perrysburg School tells 13 Action News that Hilt was placed on administrative leave before the start of the next school day. He will remain on leave pending the completion of an investigation into his actions. I don't think he's going to survive this one.
It's going to be a tough one there. We could have checked the next day at school. Literally, she's coming back the very next day.
Or if you want to reach out to the parents, you've got all parents' emails and phone numbers.
Yep.
Or just, if every student has done it, except for maybe her, well, let's just go ahead and give them the pizza party.
Yeah, hey, how about very first bus stop? You get out of the car, you walk up to the bus, explain what you're doing, and you get on the bus and ask her. We don't follow her to her house.
So this next story,
if you're going to go through it,
I hardly come across a story in trash where I'm like, I don't believe this is true. I don't believe this one. It's a story you have to see to believe, but Carletta Andrews says she was traumatized after a snake fell from the ceiling of a Mexican restaurant and landed in her margarita.
Oh, boy.
I don't believe it.
Now, it happened at the Patron. I don't believe it. Mexican restaurant in Cantina, evening of April 16th, in an exclusive interview with 8 News anchor Autumn Childress. Andrews shared that she and her husband had just finished their food when she felt something on her forehead. Quote, I leaned in to take a sip. I noticed something hit me in the forehead. I looked at my husband like, what was that? When I turned around, I saw there was a snake in my margarita. It was moving. It started wrapping around my straw. The rest is sort of a blur. Like if a snake fell in the Mexican restaurant and just hit the table, I maybe could believe this. The fact that it landed in her margarita makes it.
It is a large margarita.
Yeah, this is the old, I have the snake in my pocket. I pull it out and I let it wrap itself around.
Now, Andrews said the restaurant offered to move her to a booth, but she just wanted to leave quickly. Still in shock, she posted this photo of the snake and a recount of what happened on social media, and the comments ranged from shock to disbelief and even some denial.
I'd like to know how everyone else reacted around her, because if that had hit me in the head and was in my margarita, I'd be screaming.
Yeah. It's not calm.
Yeah. And the manager would do a lot more than move me to a booth. Come on.
So what do you think the end game is here? She just wants attention, or she's trying to get money out of the restaurant?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a Mexican restaurant. How much money does she think she's going to get out of it?
$12.99.
Independently owned Mexican restaurant.
You know, the older I
Speedy
get,
Gonzalez for life.
I think I don't know. There's just more dumb people in the world and more people that just don't need to exist. This is another example. Vatican officials are asking visitors not to take selfies with the late Pope Francis.
Are you kidding me?
As he lies.
The fact we have to ask.
Inside of St. Peter's, telling them to put their phones away as they pass by the coffin. Almost 130,000 people have paid their respects, many queuing for hours to glimpse at him lying in an open coffin. Vatican said in a statement, while many bowed their heads in reflection and prayer, others held their mobile phones aloft trying to take photos of Francis at rest. CNN footage filmed on Wednesday confirmed this. Videos posted on TikTok captured people stopping in front of the coffin to pose for selfies too. One comment read, quote, "so disrespectful."
So wait,
like this chick on the left.
Are you guys saying don't take a picture?
Of course.
No, you don't take a picture.
Don't take a
awful.
picture. B, don't do a selfie. That's even worse.
Yeah, that is terrible.
I mean, the selfie is bad. Taking a picture now.
It's a man's funeral.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Do you go around taking pictures of corpses?
No,
Yeah.
it's,
Well,
it's
let me
not
give you an
It's not a
example.
funeral yet. He's laying
I think
in state,
I brought
right?
this.
But he's dead.
Brought this up a few weeks ago when Jack, was one of the guys that eulogized Julian, his grandfather, and like I was so blown away by the words he said, and after I processed it, a couple of hours, day later, I was like, damn, I wish I had that on video. But who in the hell is going to pull out a camera and record somebody at a funeral?
Yeah.
In any regard.
No, I during my dad's funeral, we did ask the people to tell them not to take pictures because it was an open casket.
It's just sad you have to tell people
but
that.
it's the Pope, I don't know.
CNN has reached out to the Vatican for comment. It is forbidden for anyone to photograph or film in this situation on his, quote, sick bed or even after death, except where the interim authority approves for documentary purposes, a directive issued by the Vatican in 1996.
Well, they're doing a horrible job. They should call the folks in Augusta at Augusta National because
they don't let you in.
I mean, look, just leave it at the door. Leave your phones at the door.
And by the way, I would like to see the Vatican. I got no desire really to go check out a dead body like this.
No, I mean, the Pope doesn't really have a whole lot of meaning for me. I'm not Catholic, but I assume for Catholic people it's got a great deal of meaning, so maybe. Now, Jim, you will draw the line at a selfie, right?
Oh, the selfie was over the line.
Right, okay. I just wanted to see
But now
where
it's
we
a
all fell.
public viewing in the Vatican, and he's on display, basically, for you to pay your respects.
But do I need a photo of him?
I don't know.
This?
I don't know.
By the way, I think a photo of him laying in state there is going to be easily findable on the internet. Like I don't think you're going to have trouble finding that.
That is true. That's what
and I would rather have a selfie of myself in front of the Vatican.
Yeah. I always say that at sporting events too, where people are taking pictures of Ryan Williams celebrating after the Georgia game.
Yeah, you'll easily find that one.
That picture is going to be out there.
In fact, it'll be a painting by Daniel Moore, probably. Yeah.
And we've got video. You've recorded it. EG's got the video. Whatever.
Yeah. Daniel says, LT, the Vatican is 100% worth seeing, even for non-Catholics.
Oh, yeah, I believe that.
No, I would want to see it.
I just don't
there.
really care about seeing,
My
dead
son
Pope.
went, and he's not Catholic, and he was blown away.
I wonder if that courtyard where they all get there when the Pope speaks and they announce there's a Pope and there's the white smoke is bigger than you would think or smaller than you would think. Did your son say?
He did
I think you would be underwhelmed by it, but I just wonder if the average person is like, well, this is bigger than I thought it'd be.
I mean, Vatican City is the smallest country in the world.
It is, and that courtyard's pretty important for them there.
And I can't remember because he ate at McDonald's. And I can't remember if he told me
the Pope did.
No, my son. If it was right at the gates before you go into Vatican City, or if it was in Vatican City.
The McDonald's.
Yeah,
I'm going to Google that because I'm fascinated by it. So because
they print money.
Like he said they ate, and I can't remember if they ate inside the Vatican City at a fast food restaurant, and I hope it's a McDonald's, but it was a fast food restaurant. I think it was McDonald's.
And it's just outside the gates.
Just outside the gates.
Yeah, I think
That's
so.
what I thought.
That's what it looks like.
Yeah.
2 in Rome, right by Vatican City, but they're both outside the gates.
Yeah. Interesting. That is Trash Today, brought to you by our friends at Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. You can get a cold Bud Light right there with our friends at Champy's on Highway 119 in Alabaster. Sterling and the crew there to serve up a great happy hour every day. It's a great community location where a lot of regulars go by there and enjoy a nice cold Bud Light after work or before dinner. But it's open for lunch right now. Sterling will cook that chicken to order. Comes out piping hot, brined overnight. It's delicious to the bone. They got the hand-cut chicken fingers, the po' boys, all the great sides, the Mississippi Delta recipe tamales, which got a little heat to them. It is so good, all with our friends at Champy's Chicken. Big news in the NFL. Washington's Commanders returning to D.C. The deal finalized over the weekend. $3 billion deal to build a new stadium on the site of old RFK Stadium. So D.C., Washington hasn't played since they left RFK. They've been in Northern Virginia, I believe. So they're actually moving back in the district. The new stadium plans will have the ability where you will, from the stadium, be able to see the monument.
Oh, that's cool.
Boy, RFK, to me, growing up watching those games in the 80s, seemed like a complete shithole.
It did.
Like it was about to fall in.
It did. I didn't like watching the Redskins. But
I never liked them.
I didn't either. Never
I didn't
liked
either.
them.
I didn't like the color scheme.
I guess we're not getting that name back, though.
No,
Me too,
you won't
no.
get that back.
But we did every time we bring up the Commanders. So we're getting that name back.
I don't think you're going to.
I don't think it's coming back.
It's never back.
But in that stadium, I loved watching games in that stadium. But I never liked them.
I didn't. It seemed like the crowd was on top of it and into it. They were the only NFL team that had a band.
It was a baseball stadium. And
I think so.
They had the big bleachers.
I think the Senators actually played there back in the day.
The Senators did?
I think
I know
so.
the Nationals did when they first started.
They did, right? When they first became from Montreal.
And it wasn't that bad a setup. That was the era where they built stadiums like Riverfront, Three Rivers,
just cookie
RFK,
cutters.
Cookie cutters, Fulton County.
Built for baseball and football.
Built for baseball and football. So that was actually a worse setup for football than baseball. Like we've always talked about Fulton County, the worst seat was on the 50.
That's right.
You were a mile from the action on the 50.
But at least at RFK, they had those bleachers they brought out.
They did it smarter, it seemed.
And during baseball season, had to kill the grass to have those bleachers out
That's
there.
good, though, that they're coming back to D.C.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't really care. But
And
that seems like that stadium seems so old.
And a $3 billion stadium.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's going to have a roof, not have a roof on it.
I'll tell you, post Daniel Snyder, that franchise is on the rise right now.
It is. Super Bowl in D.C. at some point.
Yeah, I could see it. Big tourist town.
LT, you think Super Bowl in D.C. at some point?
Yeah.
With a new stadium?
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, that would be unique. I guess the Capitals won a Stanley Cup, but I mean, when's the last big event that DC Sports has had? Your Nationals
Yeah,
won the World
Nationals
Series.
played a World Series.
Did they win that in front of the home crowd?
No, they remember the road team won every game in that series, 7-game series.
Yeah. I mean, we're going to get one in Nashville, the Super Bowl, because of the stadium when it gets built.
You could do D.C. now. It's a weather, it's a crapshoot on the weather in February there.
It may be domed. I don't know.
Could be.
Or maybe what SoFi has started, the open-air covered stadium.
Yeah.
Interesting. Just good to be back in D.C. with the Washington team. All right. We're back tomorrow, 9 a.m. Central Time. A lot of great content going out throughout the day at Next Round Live. We always ask you, by the way, to catch up with us on demand if you missed any part of the show. You do that through Apple and Spotify, iHeart, and Google Podcasts. Remember to like, subscribe, follow, and where you can, turn on automatic downloads. That helps us more than anything, turning on those automatic downloads. Do that for us on any of the platforms. Until next time, God bless you and God bless America.